Gaming news today is all about the updates. First, the Ghost of Yotei State of Play has been officially announced, and it's right around the corner, literally tomorrow. But how long is it, and what do I hope to see? Second, The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered has a brand new way to play the game, and no, it is not another remaster or a collection or anything like that. It is a free update. I promise they're not charging anybody for it, and it's going to remove maybe one of my biggest criticisms about the game's pacing. Third, Assassin's Creed Black Flag Remake is maybe close. There are some updates hitting Steam. So what exactly happened? How quickly do we think we are going to see it? And as always, I do have a game for your wish list and for your radar. If you're watching this right now or you're watching it later, please make sure and hit that like button. That has been a huge help lately when we kind of see those like surges on a video. Also, to directly support the channel, consider clicking join, pick Member Plus. You'll get into the green room and you'll be able to watch streams with my wife, some of those fun behind the scenes streams. You don't get access to those unless you're a member. Purple platform, same deal. You'll get past the ads if you do that. So let's get into this because I've obviously got some things to say about Ghost of Yotei first. So in case you missed it, the PlayStation announcement about the Ghost of Yotei State of Play was actually during Summer Game Fest, and I was pretty mad. I still am mad. I don't think they should have baited us, but all will be forgiven very soon, okay? The State of Play is taking place on July the 10th at 5 p.m. Eastern. We will co-stream the event. We'll hang out during the day leading up to that as well, so make sure you are here for that. And this is what they say about the deep dive. They say, our State of Play features nearly 20 minutes of Ghost of Yotei gameplay hosted by Sucker Punch's creative directors Jason Connell and Nate Fox. Beyond sharing more about Atsu's quest for vengeance, we're excited to show off her new weapons, new ways to personalize your journey at the edge of Japan, new special modes, and much more. Now, I gotta say, this sounds like everything that I wanted to see. The new weapons, hopefully that means we get to see the new stances, because I think that is a central point of what makes Tsushima's gameplay and combat so good. Also, the mention of new modes has me intrigued. I'm not quite sure what that means. Maybe it's going to come out of the box with an expansion and evolution of the Legends game mode. Maybe something co-op. I don't know. I'm not going to get my hopes up, but we're just going to kind of wait and see what they have to say. The thing I think I'm the most curious about, and also somewhat concerned about, is the world size. Right on time. Thank you, trailer. The world size is my only concern, okay? The trailers make it very clear this game is going to be large landscapes. The visual scope of the game seems quite a bit bigger than Ghost of Tsushima. Now, that obviously comes with concern because I think Ghost of Tsushima is one of, if not the best, open world game that I have ever played. I wouldn't argue it's better than Zelda or Elden Ring, but in the realm of open world games like this, it doesn't suffer from a lot of the tropes, a lot of the bloat, a lot of the overstuffed feeling that so many games like this can feel like. Now, the risk of a sequel is obviously you're going to want to go bigger. You're going to want to make it more dense. And after my experience with Assassin's Creed Shadows, I really hope that Ghost of Yotei stays true to what made Tsushima's open world so well built and so well balanced. Okay, but those are just my thoughts. I would love to hear your thoughts. You can leave a comment below if you're watching this later, or make sure that you're here for those live discussions. Chat, I want to know what you think about this. What are you thinking about Yotei? And what do you think about this? You can apparently play The Last of Us 2 Chronological now. Well, not apparently. They officially announced this. And I promise this is not something that they're charging money for. And this is definitely a completely different way to experience The Last of Us Part 2. If you're like me, the pacing of Part 2 was the cause of some frustration and criticism. As soon as Ellie's like really up to snuff, she's got a ton of stuff, all of a sudden you're not playing as her, you're playing as Abby. I found that to be unenjoyable. I found that to be very disjointed and very disorienting. And I know that was their intention, but you can now play this game in chronological order. What this means is you will be bouncing back and forth between Abby and Ellie quite a bit more, because there are things that you're doing or that Abby is doing at the exact same time that Ellie's doing them, so you would basically be bouncing back and forth between those two things. Now, this could make people, I think, maybe have a better time with the game. Maybe it'll make people not hate Abby quite so much because you don't wait so long to play as her. You're given a little bit more time to ease into understanding her character and her motivations. And I don't necessarily know if it'll change my opinion about how I'm very annoyed with Ellie by the time I get to the end of the game, but it will certainly have a different impact on those that experience it. If you've played it that way, Let me know what you thought. Like if you came back to this later or you played it in the last week or two, as this update has hit. I'm curious to what people think about it. And what do we think about this? Assassin's Creed Black Flag Remake may be very close at hand. According to Insider Gaming, Assassin's Creed Black Flag Steam page has added brand new features that were not present in the original game. And it was spotted by fellow YouTuber The Hidden One. They're actually very nice. They've stopped by here from time to time. And they've always been very kind during AC Shadows coverage. And they've done a great job with all their AC coverage. But they've added custom volume control, stereo sound, surround sound, mouse-only option, adjustable difficulty, and save anytime. So speculation is obviously running wild here. The Hidden One is like, well, this could mean they're going to be updating the old game and then deploying the remake separately. Maybe they're going to replace the old game with the remake version. I don't know if that would be the right call. People would probably want to continue to access the original version of the game just for the sake of having it, especially in light of the new and seemingly in the beginning of being successful, the Stop Killing Games initiative. You don't necessarily want to take people's games away. So if you're going to be adding those things for quality of life, that's great. And then they would deploy the Assassin's Creed Black Flag Remake as a separate game. I think that would probably be the best way to do that. But I'm really excited about this. I actually hope they do a great job with it. It'd be cool if it's very successful. Maybe they could do some of the other classic Assassin's Creed games that could use some of that more modern day, more next gen polished. AC Shadows was, I think, especially impressive. It was, I think, one of the best looking games I played this gen prior to Death Stranding 2. Implementing that global illumination was a huge uptick in visual quality of the open world. I just wish it wasn't so bloated and so long. I got into like the 40th hour and I was like, I am done. This is not the kind of game I want to be in for 50 to 100 hours. Usually a game like that, I'm good around the 30 to 40 hour mark. I'm usually ready to be done. AC Shadows is very big. So, and that's basically the three main stories we're going to be discussing today, but I do like to put games on your wish list and your radar, and this one just hit Xbox and PlayStation. It's called Somber Echoes, and if you're a fan of Metroidvanias, make sure and wish list this one or snag it right now. It's been on Steam since January of this year. It doesn't have a lot of reviews anywhere, so I'd love to see people kind of, support this game. It's got an 87% on Steam and like a 96% on PlayStation, but very small amount of reviews, which probably signals the fact that not a lot of people are getting this game. So snag Somber Echoes today, or again, wish list it and maybe look for a sale, given they just had their launch. So if you like these types of games, throw your support behind it. I will add this to my ever-growing backlog of games. And again, I think the use of lighting and the setting and the three-dimensional feel, I think is very cool looking. So again, Somber Echoes right there, available now on PlayStation 5 as well as Xbox, and it's been on Steam since January. So that's it. That's the show open. Make sure you guys have hit the like button already. We always need those likes. Thank you so much for being here. And Pimp the Shrimp, Han shot first, and so did you. You're the first member of the day, and that's because you renewed for 24 months. That's a long time. And Joker Quinn, I'm going to give you the Han shot first, and so did you as well, because you are the first gifted member of the day, and that puts us at 257. We had a nice little bounce back yesterday in the weekly goal to unlock that Friday night stream, and we got to figure out what we're going to have Madam do. And yes, I am wearing the Superman shirt. I haven't seen it yet, but I think I am very excited. We're not going to talk about it because this is a gaming show, but I'm very excited to see the results of both the audience and the critics. As a huge Soups fan, I'm very pumped, but that's all I'm going to say. We can't immediately get off on that. I shouldn't have worn the shirt, but I couldn't resist. Okay, Reaper with 37 months. Thanks so much for jumping back in as well. And as you guys kind of pile in here at the start of the day, do those things, man. Check your resubs, check your primes, hit the like button, go through all those rituals. We're starting earlier, Eric, because we're no longer doing morning coffee. The vibe of morning coffee was so good, but it was sort of corrupting the start of the day. It was like really short-circuiting the start of the day. So we thought, well, let's just give you an extra hour of showtime. We wanted to be live longer than we have been recently. We're trying to increase what's called capture time. Like, we want to meet new people. We want to meet new people, and we want people to be able to maybe get a membership or maybe become a member. And that doesn't really happen if you're limiting your public live time. We were in Morning Coffee and Green Room longer than we were live in the public. So we did make that adjustment recently. You're not getting less content. You're getting the same amount of content. I start 9. I go till about 2 in the afternoon, 1 or 2 in the afternoon. If you're a paying member, you get the most, though. You want to be at Member Plus, and you'll get the most content. You'll get the green room. J Murph with 37 months. Speaking of Member Plus, there's a Member Plus renewal. Super hype for Ghost of Yotei gameplay. I am excited for Ghost of Yotei gameplay as well. Ryan Hayer with 46 months and a VIP. And Ryan's not just going to renew, he's going to pay it forward. So that's going to take us to 61. That's 3 right there. 3 more to add to the total for Team YouTube. Team Purple, you can start your push anytime now in the daily contest. There it is, Stalker 2 coming to PS5, an official announcement trailer. I thought that was going to be about a 1-year exclusive deal. What's the exact date on that? That was not a secret exclusivity deal, whatever those are. This one is now coming to PlayStation. It says late 2025. So yeah, this is likely the what is this going? There we go. Here's the trailer. Stalker 2 late 2025. Heart of Chernobyl official PS5 announcement trailer. So that is that's likely a 1-year exclusive that they had there. Yeah, Stalker 2. I did not vibe with it. It wasn't exactly in the best state when it launched. I know people really liked it. I hope Stalker fans enjoy it. It just wasn't kind of my vibe. And update on RoboQuest. My wife and I have figured out it is not our internet, it is the game. So I found somebody theorizing on Steam that the disconnects happen when you use the engineer class and you summon all the drones. And so we started not picking the skill that gives you extra drones, and it was helping. We were getting no more disconnects. But then it happened again the other night, and obviously I was very irritated because it only happens when you're really far in the game, and it seems to happen when there's a lot going on. So last night I said, let's just not pick the engineer. Maybe those drones are causing a glitch. Last night we picked 2 completely different classes. We made it all the way to the end. In the final boss fight, when everything was going crazy, she started getting the connection error, and she disconnected. It 100% is the game. RoboQuest has said nothing about it. This was obviously apparently also a problem with the Steam version. So very disappointing to have this issue. We're playing on PS5, and the guy on Steam is the one that came up with the theory. And so that's why we started playing as different classes. So very disappointing because we love the game. We've unlocked so much. We've unlocked almost everything, and I'd like to continue unlocking things, but it is such a damper on the evening to play for an hour and a half. You get all the way to the final boss, and then one of you disconnects. It's like, I've done everything I can. We set the IPs of the PlayStation to specific IPs, so that's not what it is. I'm not having any connectivity problems. I'm not having any issues with anything else. So RoboQuest needs to figure that one out. That is hugely disappointing. And a gifted member from Haseo. Thank you so much, Haseo. Haseo was so instrumental last week in helping to kind of stoke the fires to get the goal, and he's here again. And guys, again, as you're coming in and going through those rituals, see if you have a member renewal and make sure you hit the like button. That's hugely important. Destiny Bulletin, how low can this company go? Bungie Day 2025 Mystery Emblem System has Destiny 2 fans calling literal gambling, slamming the developer over low drop chances and lack of transparency. No. So basically, it's what day of the week is it? What's this see here? Oh, it's a Wednesday. Yeah, Bungie's a crappy company. Yeah, it's also a Wednesday. Rare Killer with 35 months says, I'm Ryan Hare on YouTube, doing my double dip. The man here doing the double dip and playing for both teams in the little contest. It's now 6-1, Team YouTube against Team Purple. We should maybe start rewarding whoever wins with something. Really have you guys pushing for. What should we do? Like Ghost of Yotei State of Play will be a flop. I'm not really sure why you would predict a State of Play will be a flop. I mean, State of Plays about particular games, I think, are just there for the fans of the game or the people that are excited or want more information. I mean, they did one about Borderlands 4. People seem to really enjoy it. I don't know how you classify a state of play as a flop. That doesn't make much sense to me. Amazon and Walmart are having their big summer sale right now. Deals on Resident Evil games at the moment. Oh, that's a nice heads up to people. Check that out, y'all, if you are looking for some games on sale. Cool shirt. Thank you. Appreciate it. Extra member only stream. Maybe whoever has the highest at the end of the week gets an extra segment. I don't really have time for any more segments that I'm already doing. I don't have time. What's good, Lord Hork? How are you? A crisp high 5. Only the highest of 5s. Only the highest of 5s, boys. A little pat on the back. That's what they get. That's what they get. The Stalker games in general, when they launch like that, are playing. It was just fun to play. Well, let's not immediately go off on all these other things. I like covering all the various news things, but we're 15 minutes in. Let's try to stay on topic for at least the first hour. I want to talk Ghost of Yotei, okay? We're going to talk about it a lot tomorrow as well, because we'll be doing like the waiting room, and then we'll do the co-stream of the event, and we'll all get to react or whatever. But in the absence of information, I always like having these conversations because I want to see, you know, if we get anything right, okay? So I'm curious if you guys are thinking similarly about the game that as in the way that I am, okay? Number one, we need to have a return of the stances. So they are going to show us the weapons. I don't necessarily need details on the stances, maybe just confirmation that they're doing the stance system again. But I also, like I said, I have my concerns about the open world, right? Insomniac Black with 2 different accounts, apparently. A 7-month renewal and a 46-month renewal. Quadruple dip gang. What you just showing everybody up? Okay. We're at 265. We are 10 members away from the next milestone. Purple, this is your time to shine. If somebody drops a 10 bomb, whoever does it, that's where the gifted members are going. I'll owe 5 to somebody. Edward Holst with a £5 super chat. The chronological mode has fixed part 2's biggest problem for me. I almost quit when I saw I had to upgrade everything all over again with Abby. That was my biggest criticism as well. That was my I will gift a member. Here, let me set the super chat goal. That was my biggest criticism as well of The Last of Us Part 2. You know, the black. Oh, Insomniac Black and Insomniac the Black. There you go. There you go. I was like, I didn't say that. In any case, yeah, that was my biggest criticism of that mode. IDK says, people will be disappointed from the show. None of what I have seen or read about the game impresses me about it. You could say that it's only me, but most of the time my opinion is similar to the general. Well, it sounds like you do confirmation bias because everybody always complains about the state of plays, so you're saying you are part of the complaining group. There's also lots of people that enjoy them. I've been covering these events for 10 years, and I feel like every time a state of play ends, there's a bunch of people complaining, and then there's people that liked it. So you're like, well, I'm in agreement with the general. Like, oh, okay, that doesn't mean much to me because I'm looking forward to the game. Now, I guess I'd be curious, did you like Ghost of Tsushima? And if you did, what have you seen or read that doesn't impress you? We know virtually nothing about Yōtei. I don't know where you're getting your information, but as an enormous Ghost of Tsushima fan, I don't feel like I know anything about the game right now other than the fact that it's a new game and she's going after people that, like, killed her dad, and she's got, like, the bounty list on a piece of paper. Outside of that, we don't know a whole lot. I mean, we can speculate about dual blades and the rifle and weapons, but, like, that's not exactly a bunch of information that I would say. I guess, is that information that you feel is disappointing? What about what we know so far on Ghost of Yotei has you feeling like it's just not impressive, man? And the 10 bomb comes from Pathalon Phoenix. It was hanging there for a minute, and he takes it. Purple getting left in the dust once again. Listen, Purple, you have an advantage. You guys can get a discount if you ask for it. You just got to ask me, you know? Ranger Haslam with 14 months. I thought dual blades were confirmed. They were confirmed, but they haven't really given much detail. They just showed her using them. By the way, Ranger, if you are paying for your own membership, you want to bump up to Member Plus. That way you get all the content. Member Lite is an introductory thing for, like, Gifted. So get out of that pool if you can. If you are on a Gifted, Feel free to stay there if you need to. 14 months from Sirius says, I'm disappointed with the disappointment. Yes, we all are, but this is going to become a 77 instead of a 76 because Insomniac Black is also spending his time over here on Purple renewing and hits 4 months over here as well. So much support, unbelievable. Among Us Victory, so fun playing it on the PS Portal. Oh yeah, that's a pretty good Portal game, I would imagine. That's not bad. So yeah, IDK, have you given us an answer yet? I'm genuinely curious what it is that you are so disappointed with Ghost of Yotei. Because again, I'm not telling you should be excited. I don't know enough to understand what you could be disappointed in. You know, it's not impressive, another COD. And a single gift is going to come in from Mr. Joker Quinn, the king of the single gifteds. I appreciate your support so much. We talked about this yesterday. If you guys are here on the regular and you do that regular, consistent, direct financial support of the stream, that is incredibly helpful to what we do. So never think that because you do single gifteds instead of 10 bombs and 20 bombs that you are not helping, because you are absolutely helping. Bro is just LARPing. Maybe he has genuine concerns. I don't know. Again, if you are a fan of Ghost of Tsushima, I've not seen anything that makes me go, well, that's not impressive. You know, bigger, larger areas, better graphics, and new weapons. Like, ugh, like who wants that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Who wants all that better stuff? I work so I can sub to you, Lono. For days to be well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that, SpongeRoff. Stalker 2, the team says the PS5 version will fully utilize DualSense controller features, including haptic feedback and adaptive triggers and a deeper player immersion. Further technical enhancements for the Pro are also in development. There you go. Completely random. I finally got an email for Baldur's Gate 3 PS5 editions from Larry, and I finally got my physical. Hey, congrats. It's kind of a bummer that you had to go through all that, though. Let me guess as well. I don't think he's saying that. No, I think he would have just come out and said that, Garrett. The guys that are calling it Ghost of Yotei, I mean, they're pretty easy to smell, right? They're unwashed, and they usually make it pretty obvious. They usually make it pretty obvious. I do have a Kick channel, and we don't use it. I know they're like paying people to stream or whatever. I don't know. I have conflicted feelings about streaming on that platform. Nothing against anybody who streams over there. Nothing. I don't have anything against anybody who streams over there. I don't have anything against the company. But I don't know if I could, given my own beliefs and convictions about things. If I don't think I could do it. I'd have to be compelled to be like, yeah, you can do it and have a clean conscience. So my conscience says no. 95% revenue to creator. I mean, 95% revenue to creator, 95% of little revenue doesn't matter much. I mean, we're already spread pretty thin right now across 2 platforms. I mean, multi-streaming on Purple along with YouTube has actually hurt us on YouTube to a certain degree because a bunch of you aren't showing up anymore and YouTube doesn't know why. What you honestly don't know? They're owned and operated by a gambling company, so yeah, that gives me a lot of pause, convictionally. So I'm unsure if I should pre-order Ghost of Yotei or not, including getting the physical copy. I don't think I've ever encouraged anybody to buy or pre-order a game. I've always just said, here's what I think. Here's what I think looks good, bad, worrisome. If I feel like there's, a cause for concern or caution, you have to make that decision for yourself, You have to make that choice for yourself. I think Ghost of Yotei looks like an incredible new game, right? Ghost of Yotei will be more Ubisoft level, in my opinion. Chat. Hang on a minute. I know people like to bait, and I know people like to get reactions from streamers. Homie, you know it's not made by Ubisoft, right? It's made by Sucker Punch, and Ghost of Tsushima was a Game of the Year nominated game. Are you okay? I'm sorry, but You understand it's not a Ubisoft game, right? It I'm aware, but it will follow that path. Okay. I'll tell you what. I don't see any evidence for that even being a remote concern, like, at all. But okay, dude. Just my predictions. Yeah, just your predictions. And you just magically found me with only 100 viewers in the Just Chatting directory and followed me 1 minute ago. I'm very bewildered as to where you might have come from. Guy just magically finds me in the Just Chatting directory on purple, and the first words out of his mouth are, Ghost of Yotei is going to be Ubisoft. Please don't ban me if we disagree. I'm just being honest. Uh-huh. Yeah. I wonder where he came from, chat. You follow me on YouTube? Are you allowed to talk on my YouTube? Are you able to chat? You just mentioned you also stream on purple. Okay, that's fine. As long, listen, if for whatever reason, I'm a member, go look. Okay, if for whatever reason you're not trolling and you genuinely think, okay, if you genuinely think that Sucker Punch for whatever reason is going to go the way of Ubisoft, I'm not going to compel you to think differently. I don't see any evidence of that. I see a game that has increased quality in multiple ways. We've obviously not seen a ton, but I've seen enough to be like, I think Sucker Punch is cooking over there. Yo, and Stone Spire with 2 quick singles is setting it up. We are a 20 bomb away from the next milestone. You guys, you owe this to Stone Spire. It's not even for me. This guy so faithfully keys up those member bombs. He does it all of the time. Somebody honor this man's tee up here, all right? I actually think Purple should do it. Purple, it's your turn. And a single comes in from Peachy Creamy to turn the 20 bomb into an Agent of Chaos. Thank you so much, Peachy Creamy. What you said's not a prediction? No, it's a prediction. It 100% is a prediction. He's predicting that Sucker Punch is going to take Ghost of Yotei in the direction of quote-unquote Ubisoft. Open world that had many camps to clear, 150 collectibles, and an underwhelming story. Okay, hang on one second. So you didn't like Ghost of Tsushima, so if you felt that Tsushima was already like that, why would you phrase your prediction as if they're going to go that way? It seems like you already believe they did. It seems like you feel that Tsushima already is that. I don't think Tsushima is that at all. I think Tsushima is one of the best open world games I've played. It's very well balanced. It's not overly dense. There's a lot of purpose behind what you're doing. If you're doing an encampment or bamboo or a duel, and a 10 bomb comes in from Charles Freeman. He's looking to tag team with somebody, whether it's Purple or somebody on YouTube. Thank you so much, Charles Freeman. Charles Freeman, we still have not finished that the double-double. We still have not finished the double-double. It's still on the mantle. We're only allowed to drink it on the 26th of every month because that's our anniversary is May 26th. So thank you again, Charles Freeman. It was definitely better than Ubisoft, but if they don't give it their all with Yotei, we'll absolutely feel like more Ubisoft is what I'm predicting. Yeah, I mean, so what you're saying is if they do a bad job, they'll do a bad job. I mean, that's not exactly what I would consider to be a super insightful prediction. You're like, well, if they don't give it their all and they're lazy, the game's going to be bad. Yeah, okay, you should go into the business here of predicting what games are going to do. I don't find your prediction to be all that interesting, because you're basically saying if they do a bad job, they're going to do a bad job. I mean, that's not much of an insight here. I feel like they did a fantastic job with Tsushima. For all intents and purposes, they're right. I'm going to get banned from See, yeah, I knew you were a troll. You just basically accused me of something that's egregious that I've never done. Even the people that don't like me in the console war have investigated the claims against me from that time, and they see that they're false. Again, like I said, I could tell you were a troll. I could tell. It's like he comes in, he's like, oh, he just magically finds me on Purple. He's like, well, I also follow you on YouTube. Sure you do. Sure you do, bud. They legit said they're working on making the open world more immersive. Yeah, I mean, again, if you go look at the footage we have so far, and you look at Sucker Punch's history, here, let me pause the things that you guys don't like on the old YouTubes. Let me do a little pause-a-rooney there. And if you guys like that I do that little pause so that we can just kind of chat and not worry about it, hit that like button, because we're straddling that line with y'all. It's bait. That was pretty bad bait. I mean, we all laughed at him, you know, which I guess is he served a purpose. Me, a member, just shaking your head like, gee, oh my golly. Let's see here. Sucker Punch has an extreme resume of games. Yeah, I mean, I think my confidence in Sucker Punch is well founded. I mean, I think anybody that likes Tsushima or previous Sucker Punch games, if you look at, I wonder too, let's see. Let's see if we can get sort of a Rolodex going here of, you know, their Metacritics. Let's see here. So, like, they're Infamous. You got Infamous 2, Infamous Second Son, right? How did all those do on the old Metacritic, right? Let's just take a gander here. Let's just give them the old analysis here. Let's take a peek here. You know, we might as well do a little looks-a-roonies here. Let's just go here to the side. So there's Infamous from 2009. Here's Infamous 2 from 2011, and there's Infamous Second Son. And then Tsushima, I believe, is like an 83 or an 84, but then the director's cut has like an 86. So very consistent company, very consistent scores in the 80s. Yōtei will probably be, I'm predicting Yōtei's Metacritic will probably be high 80s, you know, somewhere in the 86 to 88 range. If it holds on to 90 and above, that is a dadgum achievement, because those games struggle sometimes to land broad appeal with the critic circuit. Like, there's going to be people that just don't like too many horse rides, you know, and they'll just take points off. So I think if it lands in the upper 80s, I'll be very pleased. If it holds on to 90 or above, that's crazy. So I'm thinking 86 to 88, right in that range, and I will be very pleased if I see that. I will not be concerned at all. I'll be like, well, we got a good game, boys. Which, I would love a review code of the game, PlayStation. If you would answer my emails, I'm probably on a list. I don't think any of the companies like me. That's okay. We're going to wear that. That's just kind of the nature of, you know, if you call companies stupid, you got to know what's going to come from that. So the PSN requirement on Steam was stupid, and they're like, okay, that's fine. We'll make sure and never send you a code or respond to you. That's okay though. We'll be all right. I'm dying inside and crying about it. I really want Yōtei. There's a lot to like about Tsushima, but the incredible performance and quick loading on the PS4 was way better than anything on that console. What was really surprising about Tsushima on the PS5 is when they updated the director's cut and they got rid of the loading screens. It took me by surprise the first time it happened. Like, I fast traveled and I was like, huh? Did I? It's like I blinked and I was there and I was like, wait, I thought I didn't fast travel. I thought I made a mistake. I thought I basically like backed out of the menu. It was so fast. I'm not kidding you. I thought I had made a mistake. So I I did it again. I fast traveled again, and sure enough, I was like, oh my. There is literally no loading screen at all. So if you really like to read those little tips, about how to play the game, you're out of luck, right? You got early access to Wu-Chang. Yes, I am putting time into Wu-Chang Fallen Feathers. We got early access. The Google says average completion time is 40 to 60 hours. Given my schedule, we will have content for you to inform you about the game. Probably not going to have a rolled credits review. I don't have the time to do that. The review outlets and YouTubers that are able to do that, they don't do 6 hours of live streams every day. That makes it extremely difficult. But I am putting time into the game for you guys. I put in another 2 hours last night. Nothing's going to be better than Death Stranding 2 now. You can't defy the laws of quantum mechanics. I really want Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, but I cannot afford it right now. I mean, if there was ever a year where you really had to kind of budget your spending on gaming, this is the year. I mean, it feels like every other month something's happening. Any co-op in Wu-Chang or able to summon a partner for boss fights? Well, as far as public available information goes, I have not seen any reports or articles that confirm or say anything about co-op. But any details beyond that, I'm not allowed to speak to what's in the game beyond that. But as far as like public information that they've done interviews and press conferences and stuff, or like trailers, I don't think they've said anything about co-op. So I don't think a lot of those games that have come out like Wu-Chang and Wukong and Stellar Blade, I don't think a lot of them are built for co-op because of the way that the enemies and the bosses like aggro. Like a summonable character like you do in like Lies of P or something, I think that's a little bit different than an actual real other player that would play with a little bit more intelligence than like the summonable guys in Lies of P. So he hasn't been blinded by the particle effects yet, so maybe they've turned them down. I can't respond to anything y'all are saying. You guys are going to get me in trouble if I say anything about my experience so far. So I will have videos available for you when the embargo drops at midnight on the 23rd, a whole day before the game comes out, which is the 24th. So, anyway. Oh, you meant like an AI partner similar to Lies of P? You'd have to go to Google and search if that's a thing. I don't know if they said anything about that. Where Winds meets a single player with co-op. Oh, is it? I didn't know Where Winds Meet was what had co-op. Discord. Oops, sorry. I think Where Winds Meet is less of a Souls game though, isn't it? Isn't it more of like an open world action game? Listen, they said Ghost of Yotei gameplay. They have new modes that they're gonna be talking about at this State of Play tomorrow. What if somebody can play as the wolf? Not. Listen, Zubair, don't start typing about how I'm obsessed with co-op. I don't want to hear it from you today, okay? I don't want any guff, all right? I'm in a good mood. We're talking about all of the things that excite me, all these games that are coming, especially Yōtei. Now listen, what if somebody could play as the wolf? Because listen, track with me. This is serious. I mean this. What if you can have the wolf with you and you're like going into camps and stuff and he can come in as like a distraction? And what if someone can play as the wolf? What if somebody could join you? I'm telling you, that would change the game of the year discussion. Okay, move over Expedition 33. Someone can play as a motherfucking wolf. Like I want it. Pure delusion. I just love co-op. You just give me more of it. I need more. Put co-op in everything. Lono, this is Solitaire. I think you just underestimate the power of co-op, okay? Somebody can do something to help me with Solitaire. No one's going to play as the damn wolf. I don't know. I'm just saying. They said new modes. Listen, every single one of you that are disagreeing with me, you owe me 50 bomb members if they add a co-op mode where someone can play as the wolf. I'm going to retire. There's a lot of people here. We're going to make some good money if I'm right. Yes, Solitaire Part 2. I'm serious. I think it could be there. If someone can play as the wolf, You guys owe me big time. Get your wallets ready for tomorrow night. I don't owe you anything if I'm wrong, by the way. That's not how these contracts work, right? This is like a contract with Microsoft. The house always wins, okay? I win no matter what. Heads I win, tails you lose. That's the deal, okay? So if there's a co-op mode and somebody can play as the wolf, get your butts ready, all right? We need a co-op game where Lono controls the character's legs and Hilly controls the character's arms. We played a game like... What's going on? What is going on? Oh, that was a bitrate. We had an encoding. How could we possibly have an encoding, like, error? What is my computer doing? What is going on? There's nothing else happening on the computer. Is Windows updating? It updated last night. I did a reboot, and I turned Windows Update off. Did it do that weird thing with the audio too, or was it just a drop frame? Nothing is running. Resource management all looks good. I don't know what that was. I got an encoding warning. We lowered the bit rate for both platforms because I felt like we were pushing too much. Like when I tried to play Death Stranding 2, it did not like that. So I don't know. Microsoft is like, those are some really cute videos you've been making. Yeah, Microsoft heard me say that. It was just frame drops. Okay. I don't know what happened. Stalker 2, the Stalker 2 trailer is cool. Your power blinked right out at that blip. That's really weird. I don't know what happened. Stalker 2 on PS5 is finally public info. Yeah, I mean, I thought they never said it. Like, they never officially confirmed this. I thought it was pretty much an understood thing that was a timed exclusive deal, and it would be coming to other platforms at some point in the future. So, they never explicitly stated it, but I just thought that was always the understanding. Has anybody else been having blue screen with Windows? No. Yeah, I mean, it could be because of whatever they did yesterday with the update. I might have something down here. I don't have anything down in the tray running. There's not like, when it tries to do that, what's their cloud? OneDrive. It always tries to do OneDrive. I think I uninstalled that. So, if you're actually able to play as the wolf, we will never hear the end of it. It was your idea. I don't know, man. She said, "Are you still with me?" And she was talking to that wolf, and the wolf was just like, I don't know if you guys heard it. If you go back and turn it up really loud, the wolf was like, "Yes." Yeah. He answers her. He talks. He's a talking wolf. Do you think Stalker 2 delay to PS5 will affect sales? I mean, of course it will. I think anytime you stagger the release of a game like that, there is a diminishment of the sales. But, you know, part of an exclusivity deal is that the company is usually compensated. So I would imagine Microsoft compensated the developers for that. They probably were also compensated for the fact that it was Game Pass game. So I would hope that the devs were, you know, handsomely compensated for the agreement. You know, both of those are ways that you can make money when you're a company dealing with when you're a developer, dealing with a company like Microsoft. You mean to clear up your System 32 folder? Sometimes it fills up and causes an issue. I mean, are you memeing? Sony and Microsoft both offered money. Microsoft allowed the game to be on PC. Sony didn't want to allow it to PC for the entire year. They chose Microsoft, it seems. Jake, did you see that reported somewhere? The wolf said it's my time now. Yeah. I don't know if I should share this, but I saw a deleted scene where the wolf said it's Yōtei time. I'm kidding. It's Yōtime. That's terrible. That is actually terrible. It's Yōtime. That is awful. I mean, that's a bad joke. You know, the full line was originally going to be, "It's not my time, it's Yōtime." But they cut it. They shrunk it down, and they said, we think it's a little too long. Stream over. Again, boo. Listen, the point is, you're going to be able to play as the wolf. That's what the point that I'm making. You're going to be able to play as the wolf. You know what I mean? Boo, gift 5. I don't know y'all anything yet. No, wait, we hit the 75. I do owe YouTube 5. Well, somebody drop a 10 bomb, and then I'll drop a 10 bomb. Just take care of it, YouTube. Get us to the 300, and I'll join you. We'll do a 10 bomb double right now. Let's do it. Get this man to write the script for The Last of Us Part 3. I think one of the best... I ruin my own jokes and content because I just start laughing. I can't even get it. I can't even get to the thing. I think one of the best ways to open up The Last of Us Part 3 is to say somehow Joel returned. Don't unsub. Don't unsub. We're already dealing with that. We're already dealing with that. People are already unsubbing, okay? People already hate me enough. Please don't unsub. That was the only joke. No, I've got one more. Hang on. So after they say somehow Joel returned, someone says, well, then this really is The Last of Us. All right. All right, that's it. All right, you get the Palpatine meme, and you also get the name. I gotta go. Get out. You get the name of the game inside the game. Come on, that's brilliant. Of course, that's like poetry. George Lucas, copyright 2019. No, for real. I think we're gonna be able to play as the wolf in Tsushima. $2 super chat from Insomniac says, "I'm going back to double dip." Oh no. He's lowering. He's gonna lower his support. It's the end of the world as we know it. Oh, and I feel fine. It was a great run. I'm uninstalling YouTube. You can't. What do you mean uninstall? Oh, you're on your phone probably. Yeah. Anyway, 31 months of a member light from WRB in Cincinnati. Thank you so much for renewing your member light. This is another call to everybody who's paying for their own membership to upgrade to Member Plus. It's $1 more, but we need a lot of folks to do that, especially if you're on a gifted. The Member Plus number has dropped quite a bit. A lot of people shifted over to Purple. We need that number to bounce back. It's not about the dollar, right? Like, if 100 people do that, that's like $70 a month. It's like, okay, that's great. What's more important isn't the money. It's that you get into the extra content. That basically is what keeps what we're doing going. Like, we open up more content. We do Green Room. We do Friday nights. So Member Plus, if I could make Member Plus $5 and a penny, I would. It's just so we can have that dividing line. That's the only reason we do that. They don't let us do that. I wish we could. I wish I could have 2 $5 tiers, one for gifted and one for folks who are using their own money. Purple's easier than YouTube. He's a little hyper. There's nothing in my coffee. It's just refreshing to talk about games and a game that I'm particularly excited about. Like, it's an enjoyable thing. 50 months from Creature. Why is WKRB taking strays? I'd get them to write TLOU2 before you. WKRP didn't catch a stray, and that's going to be 292 on the total count. Thank you so much, Creature. There it is. And 32-2. Come on, Purple. It's your time. Could we get 50 more likes on the video? No, I'm not drunk. You know what's... I think there's an element of... This is a little depressing, that if I'm in a good mood, you guys are like, well, he's drunk. There's no other explanation. He had a good morning. He's excited to talk about Yōtei. No, he's probably a day drinker now. He just couldn't take the pressure. He cracked. He's drunk. Like, I'm in a good mood. There's only one explanation. Drugs or alcohol. That's there's something depressing about that, really. I mean, you guys have already taken the mood down quite a bit. Jay Hart with 4 months says, let's talk about Xbox's PC strategy. Shut the frick up. Shut up. Shut it. Listen, I did put a video up this morning though on Twitch. I thought the reading of those emails was pretty good. The audio is messed up though on the clip because apparently if you screen record on your phone while you're using Bluetooth, it completely screws it up. So that's unfortunate. But that's what happened. I'll go on record. You're in a good mood. It's weird and I don't like it. Yes. Everyone's like, he's too harsh. He's too grumpy. And then he's in a good mood. And they're like, yeah, we don't like that either. We don't know what we want. He's in a good mood. Clearly something is wrong with him. That's right. I'm not going to judge how you want to live your life. You put a little bourbon in your coffee. I'm not going to judge you for that. And then like an hour into the show, I would just be asleep. I would be so tired. I honestly, it's not funny to joke about, but I don't know how people do that. You know what I mean? I have a couple drinks and I can't get through a television show. I'm like, how are people out here day drinking? What are you doing? Can't do it. Good mood? Let's review YouTube comments. Yeah, I'm in a good mood. Let's open up Twitter. Let's fix the vibes real quickly here. Let's go read idiocy. You know? All right, I'll give one person their moment here. I don't know who they were or what their Twitter account was, but I posted the video of me reading those emails, and the guy's like, it's fake news. I'm like, I'm reading emails from the FTC trial. That's fake. It's fake news. Those aren't real. Phil didn't say that. I was like, all right. Whatever you say, buddy. We're all just living in the holodeck. I mean, you know, it's all fake. Nothing's real. This is all a simulation. Phil Spencer's a robot. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. It is. Yeah, it's AI. That's right. I used generative AI to make that video. It's not real. Phil never said that. It is a funny email exchange. Go watch the video. If you're here right now, we've got lots to talk about that's not that. We're not doing that. We're not talking about that anymore. We're talking about Ghost of Yotei. I do want to talk about this wolf thing, though. No, I'm kidding. I actually am curious. This is me being genuine. What kind of new modes? They use the word modes. What kind of modes would they be adding? Do you think they're going to ship Ghost of Yotei with Legends, like in the box, and that's where these modes will be? Because the Legend didn't, correct me if I'm wrong, I didn't play Tsushima at launch. I played it later on my PS5. Horde mode. Zubair, if anybody needs to take the day off now, it's you. A freaking horde mode? Come on. Why are there locusts here? You think Legends will be there day one? Yeah, Legends came later. Right, yeah, Legends came later as like a free update. A boss rush? Ooh, I would like a dual. Let me hang on. Let me pause the thing. I'm doing the pause thing, y'all. Okay? I'm doing the pause thing. You know what you're supposed to do? When I pause the things that none of us like, you're supposed to hit the like button. That's in the contract. A co-op horde mode with the wolf. Now listen, you're pulling me back in here on this one. All right, the wolf might tip the scales. Lono, I really think there should be a PvP with guns. Are you out of your mind? Well, what if you can play as the wolf? All right, let's consider this. Let's really weigh the possibilities here. I do think a dual rush would be cool because you can go back in. You can go back into the duels and replay them on the map in Ghost of Tsushima. Now they're a little bit harder, right? They're a little bit harder, but I think that's really, really fun. That'd be cool if you could do that though, like maybe some, replayability post-launch content or something like, not post-launch content, or like, second playthrough. New game plus is what I'm trying to think. I couldn't think of the dadgum term. A VIP. Zombies mode. Thank you so much for 25 months, V-Game Veteran. Listen, there ain't no way you're going to put a zombie mode in this, right? Unless I can play as the wolf, then I'll consider it. But if it's that, no to the zombie mode. Come on. Boss rush would be cool. Can you dual wield the wolves? This is probably the single most important question that's been asked today. I think that's more important than anything. You know, if I can hold two of them at the same time and make them shoot something. PvP extraction shooter as the wolf. The AI summary of chat's got to be phenomenal. You know, chat and the streamer are speculating whether or not Ghost of Yotei will have a PvP extraction wolf mode. Now I want an FPS game with muskets. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat tip. Why would you want an FPS game with muskets? Why'd you die? I can't believe you died again. Brother, it takes a minute to reload. I didn't even have my gunpowder out yet. I'm dead. Like, that would not be fun. I want to hold two of them at the same time. Huge blip. Not for me. That wasn't me. Nothing happening on my end. You said big pause. That blip must have been only for Predator. The wolf reloaded for you. That's right. That's right. I hadn't actually gotten that there's a wolf in Yōtei until the stream. My hype is escalating. I mean, I think we should do a breakdown of the trailer. If you guys haven't seen it yet, if you haven't seen it, Ghost of Yotei, okay, state of play. So we need this state of play trailer, okay? This is what we need. No, I don't need myself here. That's an upcoming 20 minutes and more. Here it is. Here we go. All right. So here's what we're gonna do here. We're gonna close this out here. I mean, it's only 57 seconds long. You know, there's a lot going on here. So clearly, they're establishing here that she's got her rifle. She's at the ready, right? So she's planning her mission here. This is a common thing you do in Ghost of Tsushima. You know, you sort of look at the encampment and you sort of plan what you're going to do. Now, this is the pivotal moment here. She looks down and she's really weighing her strategy here. She looked at the wolf. She's like, okay, so if I'm taking the wolf in, that's not her gun. I'm sorry, that's her katana. I thought that was a gun. Now he's taking his turn. See? You see, this is player number 2, and they're taking their turn, like scoping out, and he's like, I can't wait to go down there. It's Ghost of Yotei time. And so he's looking, see, I told you, I think that I think that you're going to be able to play as the wolf. He does the same thing she does. He walks up. I did not pre-watch that, by the way, for this bit. I did not pre-watch. He walks up. He looks at the camp, and he's like, he's taking his turn to choose what he wants to do. What's with the like ratio on this vid? I'm in good company, by the way. Look at this. 11,000 likes to 8,000 dislikes. People did not like that they did that. They did not like that. I'm in good company because I'm pretty sure the other Ghost of Yotei trailers, they do not have bad like ratios. Like, this isn't getting brigaded by the weird anti-woke like buffoonery, right? 344 to 30,000, 140,000 to 6,000, 19,000 to 5,000. So for whatever reason, recently, this is interesting to me. It does feel like maybe the guys that haven't showered since the 3rd grade, they're out here hitting that dislike button for nobody knows why. But yeah, I don't know. It's that anti-wolfism. That's what it is, honestly. I feel like it's probably has more to do with the people that don't like the wolf. You know, I stand by. I would consider myself a wolfie. I mean, that doesn't work as well with the wokey. I'm a wolfie. It doesn't work as well because it just sounds like a weird nickname. Like you want to be called Wolfie, right? Which, funny enough, that's the fake dog name that the Terminator uses to trick the T-1000 in Terminator 2. He says, "What's wrong with Wolfie?" He goes, "What is the dog's name?" I can't do an Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonation. But he says, you know, what is the dog's name? And he says, is it Max? That's good trivia. What's the dog's real name? Is it Max? But he says Wolfie. He's like, what's wrong with Wolfie? Wolfie is fine, dear. And he's like, both of your parents are dead. Your foster parents are dead. That's right. What's wrong with Wolfie? So if I ever call you and I ask that question, you should be scared. You should be terrified. We stand with all the wolves in chat. We really do. We do. We also stand with the like button. Could we get 16 more likes on the video? We need 200 likes. There must have been a little bit of a blip there because we did surge to a viewership that wasn't real. All of a sudden we were like 475 and we're dropping back down to 450. So the platform is having a bit of an issue. So one way to help with that is to be hitting like, engaging in chat. Check your member renewals, check your primes, do all the things. Smell like Stallion, like Stallone. Yeah. I'll know that I'm not a bum. Anytime he talks, my wife's like, I don't understand how anybody understands what he's saying. And I obviously love him. If you don't, then I don't know what generation you were born in, but you're an idiot. That's the facts. That's scientifically proven that if you don't like Sylvester Stallone, you're an idiot. Except for Lone Wolves, they obviously stand alone. This is correct. You got 2 blips? Yeah. I can tell when the viewership's doing that we're getting blips. I'm not quite sure what the issue is. So we got the State of Play thing. We got Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and you guys think mode, it'll launch with Legends. So you think Ghost of Yotei will launch with its Legends mode, like out of the box. Okay. They said new modes. Okay. Do you think we'll get details on the stances? I don't know if they'll give us details on the stances. I think they're probably... I would love it, obviously, if they do. But I think they're just going to show the weapons. Like, these are just some of the weapons that Atsu can use, you know. But yeah, I obviously want them to do the stances, but I don't know if we're going to get details about the stances during the actual State of Play. Have they announced Black Flag? So the AC Black Flag thing is an update that took place in Steam. Now, the hidden one has actually stopped by the stream before when we were covering AC Shadows. Super nice dude. And they're the ones that found it. So if you don't follow the hidden one on Twitter or YouTube, be sure to do that if you want news on AC. Ubisoft has officially confirmed they will be at Tokyo Game Show September 25th to the 28th in Chiba, Japan. They've revealed that they will showcase at the event, but it might include some of the following. The AC Black Flag remake is being theorized as soon at hand. Maybe it's at this event, because they just did like an update to Assassin's Creed Black Flag on Steam. So, just because, hey, I just 100%ed Assassin's Creed Shadows because of your recommendation. Definitely worth it. Loved the game and the exploration. I don't remember if I recommended it. I just said that I was enjoying it. I don't really do the you should buy it thing like recommendation. I'm glad you enjoyed it, but I really try not to do that. I try to talk about the game, and then I say, if these things speak to you, then this is a game that you'll potentially enjoy. I try not to make the pre-order or purchase recommendations. I try to kind of leave it up to the player to decide based on what I'm saying, which I really liked it until I got into the mid 30-hour range. You said it was very good. Okay. Well, me saying a game is good, again, I feel like recommending a purchase is different, which I try not to do. I try not to be like, oh, I think you should buy this game. I don't know if I've ever said a sentence that sounds like that. I try to avoid that particular element of feedback. I'll say, right, you technically do wishlist and radar. Yeah, it should be on your wish list and your radar. Keep an eye on this game. I don't say to purchase it. I don't say pre-order. I don't say buy. I'm like, I think this game should be on your wish list and your radar. As in, you should be paying attention to this game, especially, and I'll say, if you like Metroidvanias, right? And then you go check it out for yourself, and if you determine that you like it, you can buy it. Your opinion heavily influenced my purchase? Okay. That's totally fine. If my opinion influenced you, that's okay. I just really try to avoid being like, everybody should buy or pre-order or blah, blah, blah. I've actually argued that, pre-ordering is very unnecessary with early access now. There's so many streamers and content creators that can be in the game day one. When I say day one, I mean day zero, as in the game's official launch date hasn't even happened yet. And if you're compelled by live streams and YouTubes, then you can go pre-order and still get all the cool bonuses. Just wait, right? I think I've actually encouraged people to do more of that because you're super empowered now as a consumer. like 24 hours before Wu-Chang Fallen Feathers comes out, you will be able to read reviews, see my content, ask me questions about the game. I'll be able to stream it and show it to you, and you'll be able to make a decision. And then you can still pre-order and get all the cool bonuses. Like, imagine it being like this. Like with Wu-Chang Fallen Feathers. Pre-ordering the game on Tuesday to play on Thursday is no different than pre-ordering the game on Wednesday to play on Thursday. It's a day difference, but you're still getting all the stuff. You're still getting the game pre-installed. You're just waiting for the embargo to drop. That's why I think a good, healthy embargo is, but even before, or on the date that early access starts, I think is a completely fine embargo. Because let's say early access for a game starts on a Tuesday and the game releases on a Friday, okay? Like, let's say for Ghost of Yotei, the embargo is, the same day as, let's just say they do early access. Game's launching on a Friday. If you pre-order, you can play it on Tuesday, and that's the same date. That's the exact same date that the embargo drops. Well, the beauty of that is, as soon as the embargo drops and you go check Metacritic, you watch a bunch of YouTubers that you trust, you read a bunch of articles, and you're like, oh, great, this sounds awesome. I'm confident in my purchase. You pre-order, you install, you're in early access. The only thing you miss out on is like the load time of the game. So like I think people are in a much better position with respect to that when there is a healthy embargo. So the embargo is next Wednesday after. I'll definitely be tuning in for that. The embargo for Wu-Chang Fallen Feathers is on the 23rd at midnight, which is like 10 a.m. Hong Kong time. So that's why it is at that time. So it's midnight on the 23rd. So that entire day, Wednesday, I mean, even if you're up late, you can check out what everybody's saying. Because the outlets and the YouTubers, they'll publish their stuff like right at midnight. We will probably not be doing that, unless Creature thinks otherwise. We will probably run something that morning to kick off the day, give you my most robust opinion on the game that I can. We'll redirect to a live stream where we do a bit of a review roundup, maybe. I'm just speculating. This far out is probably what we'll do, and then you'll have a very, very good idea about the game, and then you can make a decision. Oblivion Remastered Update 1.2. Oh, so they're doing another update for Oblivion Remastered. Hopefully, it got a patch after all. Wait, what are you shocked about getting patched? A particular thing, Hadigan, or just the game itself? So after you beat Donkey Kong, play Wu-Chang. When does Donkey Kong come out again? Isn't it the 17th? It's next week, isn't it? That's going to be a pain in the rear end. I'm making time for Wu-Chang right now, so Death Stranding 2 is so sad to put that in the back seat, but I have to. That's just, part of the business. But the Donkey Kong is going to be, that one's going to be hard, because I am going to really want to play that. I'm going to want to play that game co-op with my wife, because they have co-op in it. And it basically is running, it's going to run co-op in a similar way that they ran co-op in Mario Galaxy. So it's more of a companion, because like Mario Galaxy and Child of Light is very similar. You have like a companion with you that's not like a full-on character. Why did you came in my feed? I didn't. That's gross. No, probably because you're interested in the games I'm talking about. I don't know. If you're really angry and don't like my content and I show up on your homepage, you just hit the 3 dots and you say, don't recommend this channel. That's all you got to do. Guess it's for PC, console shortly. Yeah, console patches are usually a little bit staggered. Yeah. A little bit scattered. Staggered, I'm sorry. You, Lono, stop that. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting here, man. You know what I mean? It's just another day. Just another day. Lono getting accused of stuff he didn't do. Frick's sake, Golly goodness. You got to watch out for that Reforge guy. He'll come in your feed. I'm sorry. Listen, this is the last time I'm going to ask to not, please don't unsub. This is the last time. I'll be good for the rest of the day. I will be good for the rest of the day. Please don't unsub. Please clap. Oh, man. Anyway, I'm leaving. It's coming. Can we get some "it's coming" emotes in the chat for no particular reason? That just seems fitting. It just seems contextually. It just seems contextual to the moment. Can we get some of those in the chat, please? Thank you. Anyway, thank you very much. There it is. And while you guys are spamming the chat, spam the like button and spam Farty Bomb. Let's see if we can't manifest. Apparently, I'm manifesting something, and let's see if we can't manifest some 50 bombs. Let's run away with it. Let's run away with it. First platform to do a 50 bomb today, I'll match it. Whoever does it first, I'll match it. If Purple does it, I'll match it. If YouTube does it, I'll match it. I'm just in a generous mood, chat. Let's just see which platform wants to do it first. And we'll see if I don't end up having to slam home a 50 bomb. Today's fun. I'm having a great day so far. I'm glad you're having fun. I'm having fun. We're talking about video games. AC Black Remake and Ghost of Yotei. Now, let me ask you guys something about The Last of Us Part 2 Chronological, right? Your opinion on Night Rain had me hovering over the button. Hey, that's a sore subject, Ashen, because nobody watched the dadgum video. They'll watch Bellular, and Bellular said all the same things I did, but he's charming and handsome and has an accent, which is an unfair advantage. I really hope Bellular owns his privilege in this space. I'm kidding. I don't mean that. He's okay looking. Okay, I kind of want to take that one back. I'm kidding. But that's a sore subject, Ashen. Anyways, thank you, Anthony, for 23 months. Says, here you go, count this one. Thank you. Oh, look at that. We're a 5 bomb away from 300. Who's going to steal it? Nobody's taking the 50 bomb bait. I said first platform to do it. I got a match. I don't know. Aren't you supposed to be safe for work? I am safe for work. What do you mean? I'm not doing anything wrong. That guy came in and said I did something. I have to. I've got to deny that, if I didn't do it. Hang on. Friends are going to need help unloading a truck next week. So they're asking for help. And I was like, I can be there. I can tell you guys where to set everything down. I'm very good at that. I can visualize space really well. So what's the story of It's Coming thing? I think I missed it. It's a funny moment where a guy went from saying Indiana Jones was going to skip PlayStation to then Jeff Keighley's like, it's coming to PlayStation. And he's like, it's coming. I knew it. Like, it's funny. It's the gift that keeps on giving. It really is a wonderful moment. No PlayStation. And he swears. He says bees. Yeah, it's funny. You're a perfect warehouse supervisor? Oh, yes. I'm great at that. I need everybody to lift this stuff. Yeah, put it over there. Yep. That's good. You guys are doing great work. All right. Now get that couch up. You guys are doing good work. You really put your back into it. I mean, you're not supposed to do that, but you know what I mean. You must be a big help. You can stand under the sofa as you move and help hold it up. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'm really good at standing underneath things, Zubair. Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm very good at that. Plug the Amazon affiliate. It's Prime Week. Oh, yeah, you guys can use the Amazon command, and I don't know if we have that over on Purple. We probably should. We probably should. I do have a link. I have an affiliate link on Amazon. It's in the description below. You guys should be using that link just every once in a while. Like anytime that you guys order something from Amazon, hit my link first. That's just a super easy way. Adcom Amazon. Hang on. Not Adam. Adcom. There we go. Amazon has been added successfully. All right, so the Purple Boys can now use that command as well. I was planning on ordering something anyway. Yeah. I don't promote a lot of that stuff enough. Yeah. I don't promote a lot of the stuff that we do enough. I'm really bad about that. And part of the reason is because I don't like to overwhelm the shows with it. It's like, we need likes. That's pretty regular. Gotta make sure and remind people to hit the like button. And then members. Like, those are kind of like the two pillars of, like, we gotta. The issue with the coffee and the Sprecher soda and Into the AM shirts and glasses. It's like, man, it's hard to mention all that stuff. Is the CD, DVD, and Blu-ray disc not Sony third party? What? I feel like ChatGPT just tried to console war. I'm very pleased with my response to that. That was very good. That was one of my best lines. When streams are full of products and affiliate links, it takes me out of the show. Yeah, it's difficult. What I need to do, I said I was going to do this. I need to just put something underneath my monitor, and Monday through Friday should just be a sponsor a day gets a mention in the show open, just so we're doing our due diligence to be appreciative of the companies that work with us. So, bag on the table. Yeah, sorry. This company especially gets really angry when we don't promote their stuff. The owner's a real d-hole. ReforgeRoast.com. The coffee's fantastic, but the owner of the company is a well, it's me, so. Sony co-founded the creation of all three forms of physical media. Okay. That's great. I'm not sure what your point is. Unless you're just if you're just goofing around, I can laugh. Tens of others take the design and can rebrand them under their company and sell CDs, DVDs, and Blu-ray discs. Okay. You're not the owner. You might be third in line. Madam expects you to live up to the contractual agreements. That's right. And a single gift that comes in from Raphael over here on YouTube. We're just gonna slow walk it to 300 today. I like your style, chat. I like it. I'm gonna rescind my offer in 30 minutes. Okay? I said first platform to do a 50 bomb would get a 50 bomb from me. That's good for the next 30 minutes. That's not all day. I swear I remember you talking about putting some kind of banner at the bottom that scrolls. We want something that rotates. Well, maybe not for there, but like over here, like a little rotator. Creature's probably working on that. He's probably also working on the music channel. He's probably also working on shorts. He's probably also working on scheduling. He's probably also working on making sure that I don't ruin the channel and my career. He's doing a lot. He's busy. So he's working on it. It's somewhere in production. Yeah. He's now writing on the dry erase board exit strategy on how to quit working for Lono. A 5 bomb comes in from Wilbur and takes us to 301. Thank you so much. There it is. I now owe the old YouTubers. I owe you guys a 5 bomb. I'm sorry, no, I owe you guys a 10 bomb, actually. I've been kind of waiting. I owe you guys 10. It's like 3 full-time jobs keeping Lono from getting canceled. It's a lot. It's a lot to ask. You know, I'm a bit of a. I mean, I'm a handful. Pause. I mean, I am. But that's not what I meant. Let's just go ahead and do these 10 members here before anybody clips that. There we go. Yo, what's good, feed? Supervisor of the year. That's right. Sounds like you got a lot to do in his free time. putting out fires. He is. It's full-time job. You just can't help yourself today? I can't. I can't. Doubling down on it. You would. Get it? No, I'm just kidding. You did not need to pause there, cuz. Don't make me say cuh, Trill. Like, you can't just throw that in the way your comment wrapped. Don't make me do that. That's the last thing we need is clips of me saying that. Look at this guy out here saying cuh. Next thing he's going to do, he's going to be saying unk out here like an idiot. Like, you can't do that. You got to give me fair warning. You know what I mean? Like, I need, it's kind of like a not safe for work warning, right? Like, I don't know. Can you put like BSA, like black slang ahead? Like, put that at the beginning of your comment so that I know to be careful as I read. Like, you can't just throw that in at the end because then I'm going to read it and people are like, what the frick does this guy, who's this guy think he is out here talking like that? Trill out here trying to get him shot. Yeah, like, come on, dude. You got to protect me a little bit. Like, I have a family. I have a family, Trill. True, we already got you saying based, yo. Yeah, I just slipped into saying based and yo the other day. We're in dangerous territory. Golly. See, that's the kind of stuff I'm supposed to say. I'm supposed to say dadgummit and golly and frick, you know? I gotta... I need some reprogramming or something. You better learn to check in. I don't know when you leave and go to another state. That's what I'm saying. I'm in danger. You know? Cross state lines and they'll be like, there he is. Yeah, that's the guy. Yep. He said based, he said yo, he said cuh. It's over. 3 strikes and you're out. Get him. BSA. That's my bad, dude. Thank you, Trill. I had to do a translation there on the fly. I feel like I did a good job. I appreciate it. Shoot. My bad, dude. Get a load of this guy. Oh my gosh. That skit that guy does. It's not a skit. He asks those guys. What does he say? Yeah, he's like, how do white people say whose man's is this? And they're like, one of them says something with buddy in it. You know, watch yourself, buddy. I'm like, now hang on a minute. Ain't nobody walking around saying that, okay? So you watch yourself, buddy. You can't just be out here misrepresenting us. You know, we take these sorts of things serious. Get a load of this guy. Eventually we'll get him on the screen in a blue shirt. I don't even know what that is. You see the Lego version of Jordan and her ship from Intergalactic? It's not a real kit, right? Isn't it just it's just Druckmann's. Whose brethren be thine? That's right. I don't know. I got called buddy the other day. I mean, that's an easy way to start. I mean, we don't need another civil war in our country. That's a great way to start it, calling somebody buddy. You know what I mean? You'd be watching a documentary and you'd be like 90 years old. I was there the day it started. You know, some road rage. Some guy's like, hey, you watch yourself, buddy. And they're like, the f you say to me? And that was how it all started. Somebody got called buddy. You got to watch out for that. Like, I'm just imagining being somewhere and another grown man calling me buddy. I'd be like, what? What did you say to me? I'd rather be cussed at. I'd rather somebody say, watch where the F you're going. If they were like, can you watch where you're going, buddy? I'd be like, I would be more angry at being called buddy than just swore at you. Just swear at me. That's upsetting. But you call me buddy, and now we're in a different scenario here. You're really taking it too far, sir. I like when people say sir and ma'am in a rude way. That's one of my favorite linguistic flourishes. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, ma'am. It's like, just don't even bother. Just call me the B word. And I don't mean buddy. Next thing, Lone will be dressed up as Kip from Napoleon Dynamite. That's right. That's right. If I ever boot up the stream and I have a do-rag on, you guys all have permission to just that's cancel worthy. That's more cancel worthy than anything I've ever done or allegedly did. That's it. That's the end of my career. Listen, you know the meme, like, I won't announce that I won the lottery, but there'll be signs. Yeah. If I win the lottery, that'll be the sign. You'll be like, he's retiring. How do you know? He's wearing a do-rag. His career is over. Either that or I've lost my mind and I've just given up and my life is a disaster. It's one or the other. There's not a lot of room for in between there. I've either completely lost it and I am self-destructing, or I won the lottery and I'm quitting. The do-rag is the sign. It's the end. It's the end. It's the end times. That's in the Revelation. I'm just kidding. No, it's not. That's irreverent. But it was still funny. We use the sauces with the black lady on them. That's right. No, the seasonings, not the sauces. If you're going to use sauces, it better have like Asian writing on it. That's the best stuff. I don't even know what it is. It just tastes good. You just take it off the shelf. You just got to go to the international aisle. That's where all the good sauces are. I appreciate you saying revelation and not revelations. Well, with a bachelor's and a master's in that subject matter, it would be pretty bad if I got the name of one of the books wrong. In the book of Isaiah, like, people like, huh? Like, what did he say? It was sauces that day. Oh, did I accidentally say sauces? Oh, that's a Friday night because the lights aren't on. So I probably had a few drinks and said sauces by mistake. It's the seasoning. It's the seasoning. He's definitely been smoking something. He's not beating the allegations today. You know what's funny? I haven't done a thing differently. I haven't. 1 Corinthians, that's right. For me, it was always 1st or 2nd, and there's people out here saying 1 or 2. They're like 1 Corinthians or 2 Timothy. I'm like, what? What are you doing? He faked his degrees, and this is what he chose to fake it. Yeah. Of all of the things to claim you have a degree that you really don't in, that's pretty bad. Yeah. Tell us about the money you touched in the 80s. What? 1 and 2 sounds crazy. It does. It sounds weird. Oh, Laney, what's up, buddy? Is common practice in UK. Morning treacle? You guys say buddy over there? That's weird. We would not. You wouldn't. You're taking your life in your own hands saying buddy over here. You know. I mean, maybe not in New York. Let's go, buddy. Like, that's probably a little more common, but the further south you go, I think it's probably like a map that you could draw, like spectrum of offense. Like, buddy in New York City is just like, you know, nomenclature. Anyway, but the further south you go, you know, call somebody buddy in Miami. I mean, that's, you're getting up on the 6 o'clock news. A local man was gunned down in a local park this evening. Oh, it's tragic. What did he do? He called someone buddy. Oh, well, he had it coming. Like, I think the newscasters would be like, obviously, he wasn't from here. He was from out of town. He was vacationing. Mate equals buddy in UK, really? Yeah, but the people say mate all the time, don't they? It was a first degree buddying. That's right. I feel like boy is way worse. It depends on how you use it in the term. If you're like, that's my boy, what's up, boy, you're good. But But if you say, out of my way, boy, hopefully you have good dental insurance. I mean, you're going to be wired shut. You know, that jaw is getting broke. Oh, hang on. Sorry. I'm pausing. Chat, YouTube, smash the like button. We are so off the rails. We're an hour and a half in. We're well off the rails. So we need to get back on subject here. Is there anything left to talk about with Yōtei? Anything that we missed? Oh, yeah. So let's talk about the weapons. The Kusarigama, doesn't she? She's using that in the thing. Do you think that's going to be an accessory weapon like the rifle or the bow? Or is that going to be one of her main 4? I'm not sure how much I want to use something that's not blade-based, you know, dual katana. I don't know what she would use after that. Dual blades katana. Because Jin wasn't like switching weapons. He was switching stances. It's starting to feel like a Friday night stream, and I love it. I just, you know, trying to bring good vibes instead of what we've haven't been doing lately. We did that, so I think it's that's worse. I tried. Aren't options good? Well, they are, but I might be alone in this. I'm actually experiencing... Nope, I gotta stop myself. I experienced this in Jedi Survivor. And maybe you guys are similar. Maybe I'm off in left field on this. Do you guys do this? I did this in Ronin as well. All these weapon options, and you generally gravitate to the 2 that feel like the best, and you kind of ignore everything else. Now, maybe that's to the game's credit, because then you're different than me, and you gravitate to 2 completely different weapons, and then you're good. But like in Jedi Survivor, I was heavy saber, and then like the saber blaster stance, and I ignored the others. And I have a feeling... I did that in AC Shadows. I just didn't use the Kusarigama. Like, just wasn't interested. I was like, no, give me my sword. Does that make sense? Like, maybe I'm weird, but I feel like oftentimes when you have that many choices, the one that feels the most divergent, I end up kind of ignoring. Are you okay today? I sense a disturbance. I don't know. Mentally, I'm trying to like not stay where we were because I don't know. I think we've got a vision for what we want to start doing with the content, and maybe it's put some pep in my step. I don't know. We got to leave certain things behind, and maybe I'm feeling good because of that. I think that's how it works. You pick your favorites. Everybody gets to pick different favorites. Maybe that's my fault, Zuby. Maybe I'm thinking, well, there's an invisible ideal here where I'm supposed to use all of the weapons, and I'm not currently doing that. So I'm somehow playing the game in a weird way, when maybe I'm actually playing the game in the way that they sort of intend. Use what you like. If you don't like something, you don't need to. Here's my concern, Zuby, and this is actually me kind of trying to land the plane here a little bit on making sense of this particular to Ghost of Tsushima and Ghost of Yotei. The stances are almost a requirement depending on who you're facing. So I'm assuming the Kusarigama, if it is in fact a weapon and is in fact associated with a stance, you will switch to it in particular instances because it's kind of needed. This will blow your mind. I played Ghost of Tsushima only on the default stance. I've never banned anybody for how they play a game, but I'm really freaking close. What the frick is the matter with you? Why would you do that? You just completely short-circuited the whole stream. Now I'm in a bad mood. I'm just kidding. I'm not. But I am genuinely confused. Why would you do that? What did you do with all the skill points that you're supposed to spend in those skill trees for those stances? Parried the whole way? What? But you can't effectively parry like the spear guys. Once I master combat, I choose whatever stance I felt comfortable with. It's so I know you can still parry, but like I guess you just made it harder on yourself, right? Because like if you're trying to parry, and not only that, it's not just the parries, it's the follow-up abilities. I can't freaking believe you played this way. Oh my gosh, you're blowing my dadgum mind. The way that the combat works in Ghost of Tsushima, it's not just the parries, it's the stuff that you do after the fact. So like what you do to a spear guy in the follow-up, you invest in really cool attacks that you follow up with, and you can't do that if you're always in the default stance. That you have absolutely, you said you were going to blow my mind, you blew my mind. I feel like you played the game in such that is so odd. There's a skill point that allows you to parry the blue attacks. No, I know that, but isn't it more, I feel like, isn't the timing more challenging? I haven't played Tsushima in a really long time, and I love the game, but I can't remember exactly how the features work. I thought that if you were in the stance, what is it, water stance for the spears? I thought it was easier to parry. Like if you're in the wrong stance, you can parry, but it's a lot harder. You're generally going to deflect, which isn't as effective. Is it stone? What's water stance? I can't remember them all. Hang on. $10 super chat from Michael Moridan. Says, Lona, did you see the latest episode of Broken Silicon? At an hour 29, Tom Moore's Law is Dead. Has some interesting info about Xbox. Off to work. Have a great day. Thank you. I don't want to throw that in the show just yet. I believe Creature was in control of the Twitter last night and retweeted a video. I would have tweeted the video. There's a different way of doing it. Creature doesn't tweet. He's not a Twitter guy. I would have tweeted the video instead of retweeting it or whatever. I told you. Yeah, I think Wired Rope told me to check it out. Yeah. In Green Room. This is correct. Hang on. I have to thank also Dirty Harry. Thank you for 30 months of subs over here on Purple. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. And you guys have 13 minutes. There's a standing order right now. If someone does a 50 gifted member bomb, I will match it. I threw that down earlier. Nobody took it, so I'm not letting that hang in the air all day. But you guys have 13 minutes. If somebody does it, I'll match it. Whichever platform does it first is who I'm going to match. Waters for shielded. Thank you. I couldn't remember. Isn't that how it works, though? Isn't it a lot harder to parry when you're in the wrong stance? Didn't you play Sekiro without using a bunch of stuff? Zubair, I didn't use items that can, like, stun or minimize certain things. That's not what he's talking about doing. That would be like playing Sekiro and never doing the Mikri counter. You'd be an idiot to... I don't want to insult anybody, but you'd be kind of an idiot to play Sekiro and be like, I'm never going to do the Mikri. You kind of need to, right? This isn't need, but it's pretty dadgum close. Like, you are making all of the parries, and not just it, again, the follow-up attacks in Tsushima, they're just not there. You struggle with the Mikri counter? I always thought the Mikri counter was the easiest of the bunch. Yeah. Oh, I love, and the sound it makes. Ooh. I can feel it right now like I just did one. It's wonderful. You don't need anything to beat Sekiro. It's just R1 and parry. That's it. You stop it. Thought that you didn't say you didn't use the prosthetics. Yeah, I forget what it was that I didn't use. I was in an owl fight. And they said, "Oh, you're not using." Was it the umbrella or something? I don't know what the frick it was. And my reasoning for not using items in Sekiro is different than, you know, Gojira's obviously mentally unwell. You know, he didn't play Tsushima. He played Tsushima and he didn't use the stances. Okay, that you should seek out some help here. Okay, yet that you're not in a good place. I actually have valid reasons for not using the items in Sekiro. Okay, I don't like using items where the more I fail, I run out of those items. So there's this sort of unspoken sunk cost in the fight beyond my time. Once I run out of those items, now I'm like, well, great. Now I've got to raw dog the fight without them. I've just created a bunch of muscle memory around having the items. So if an item doesn't replenish, I don't want to use it in a fight. I don't. There was something like that in Liza P. I could be like, and then my sword's on fire, right? Well, when I run out of those grindstones or whatever the frick they're called, I got to go get more. So they help me with the fight, but if I fail a bunch and I run out of those grindstones, now the entire fight feels different, pace is different, I've got wrong muscle memory, so I basically just trained my brain, to be like, oh, you use this thing, but now that thing is gone. So I would rather do the fight without those things, so then all of my muscle memory is based upon things that I get every time. Every time I step into the ring with Ishin, anytime I step into the ring with Owl, I know what I've got and what I can do in the fight, instead of, oh, well, I played him 10 times in a row and I was using an umbrella or something, then now I don't have that. Does that make sense? My position is sensible. Gojira's position is stupid. I'm kidding. But seriously, it is. I think that's factual. My playing weird is moral. Your playing weird is evil. I think this is factual. I think I could make an objective case that I am correct and Gojira is wrong. I love the pairing Ghost of Tsushima so much. It just always felt so good to do it. But Gojira, hold on. In a bubble, Doug, you can still parry. Like, that's my point. You're not parrying. I was still parrying the spear guys when I switched to their stance. Right? Like, that's what I'm confused about. You're not giving up parry when you switch stances. Now, I don't think you parry when you switch to the stance for the big guys, right? Again, I haven't played in a really long time. You're really stretching my memory here. But you can parry sword and shield, you can parry non-shielded guys, and you can parry spear guys. You can't parry the big guys. Just because you change stances doesn't mean you're not parrying. Sekiro start light attack with R1. Can you parry the big guys? I feel like towards the end they were always using those weird cannon things. So I was mainly dodging them and then doing the charge up where you're like this. And then you go, you like spin with the sword. They do have an attack you can parry. Okay. Tsushima was one of my top 5 games PS4 era. It was fire. It's one of my all-time favorite games. I absolutely love it. Yeah. Sekiro, Ghost of Tsushima, and Returnal are some of in the first Hellblade. The stances help break the guards faster. Yeah, I don't know. The big guys have an attack you can parry. Gojira, we're obviously having some fun here, but I am kind of curious. Did you do this because you felt like you couldn't parry with the other stances? Did you misunderstand? Because you can parry when you still do it. You just hold the sword differently. And then your follow-up attacks that you spend skill points on are different. So like the standard stance, when you do the charge triangle, don't you go like, you bring the sword up and you go foo foo, and you like do like a stab. And then there's for the spear guys, you kick or something. No, yeah, you can't parry red attacks. We're not talking about that. We're talking about like he played the whole game on the standard stance. He said, I'm going to blow your mind. We're still talking about it. I mean, he literally did. He blew my mind. I'm like, I don't know how anybody could play Tsushima and not use the stances. That's insane to me. Like, that's literally the way the game is built. Wicked Witch of the East, bro. Wait, what? Yes, Maloon. Ravenous Gojira said, I'm going to blow your mind. I played through Ghost of Tsushima, and I played only on the one stance. And I'm like, what? It's like the entirety of the combo system And he was like, I just liked the standard stance the most. You know what got us on this subject? We were talking about how, like, games with lots of different weapons, I tend to gravitate to the 2 weapons that I enjoy the most. And I was kind of wondering, is Ghost of Yotei going to be like that? Like the Kasurigama in AC Shadows. I didn't like it. I didn't like the Kasurigama. I just wanted to use swords. So the Kasurigama is going to show up in Ghost of Yotei. And then he said what he said. He was like, yeah, I only use the standard stance. It's not optional. In order to defeat certain enemies, you need to switch unless you become the ghost mode. Danny Owen, what's an enemy that you can't beat without switching stances? No, I know you can. I just felt the other stances made the combat a little too easy. I also don't like switching between the stances. Ravenous Gojir, did you play Rise of the Ronin? Oh, that stance switching in Ronin was, oh my gosh, it was so cool. I don't think there's any enemies that you cannot defeat without changing stances. You can totally brute force it. You have not played it. Okay, you would be maybe in a similar headspace with Rise of the Ronin. You would probably be like, I don't want to... I honestly don't think you would like Rise of the Ronin. Do you want to know why? You come up on enemies. Pause. You approach enemies and you see this little symbol, and it says that your stance is strong or weak against them, and you would switch beforehand and then during. You would probably not. I don't know if you would like that. Rise of the Ronin parry was whack. What was whack about it? By the way, could we get to let's quickly get to 300 likes on the YouTube video. We're coming up on the 2-hour mark. Let's try to stay ahead of pace. Also, there's 3 minutes left. I threw down a gauntlet. None of the big boys are here, so nobody took the bait. Maybe they're here now. I threw down the gauntlet, and there's only 3 minutes left, and I'm not doing it. If somebody does a 50 gifted bomb, I will match it. I was trying to get the platforms to compete. Whoever does it first, whichever platform does it first, I'll match it. Giving you meaning to finishing. That's right, Lobo. That's right. You really need to finish them off. Don't leave them hanging. Okay? It'd be very frustrating for them. It's like using grass type attacks against fire types in Pokemon. It makes no sense. Well, he said he felt like it was too easy. I mean, there's an armor set that you get from Ikishima that is just ridiculous. I mean, it's ridiculous how it makes the game, like, fun, but it makes the game very, very easy. Yeah. That armor's broken. It's so fun, though. Like, at that point in the game, Zach, I was just like, I'm here to have fun. What if Purple does a 100 bomb? If Purple does a 100 bomb, I guess I would match it. I think that's fair. They have 2 minutes. They have 2 minutes. I don't think it's going to happen, Wolf Saints. Sarugami? What's that? Is that, Oh, they look like wild monkeys. Yeah. The armor was called Sarugami. Yeah. Yep. I'm with you about items in Souls. I never use items either. Yo, what's good, Light Leap? Hilly's over here spamming the farty bomb emote. He's trying to manifest it. There's 60 seconds left. The gauntlet has been thrown down. I'm matching whichever platform does it first. I'm not doing it for both. That's too much. I played most in chronological order, and if you thought you wanted to experience it that way, playing it justifies that the OG was better. Its pacing is worse. Rob so much too. Wait, what are you talking about, Maloon? If I played on the hardest difficulty, I would have used all the stances. Yeah, I don't think that would be a really, really interesting challenge, Gojira, to play Tsushima on lethal and to not use the other stances. Holy frick, I think that would be that might be impossible. Well, maybe not impossible, but very unlikely to succeed, because some of the duels would be ridiculous. Like, you would just get eviscerated, and you'd be so ineffective. That would be a really interesting challenge for those Souls guys, because they'd have to figure out how to minimize all the attacks and all the damage, right? That'd be really, really difficult, because like you're gonna die so so fast. I've always wanted to play Tsushima on Lethal. Lethal was fun but very challenging. Jin's uncle took me 2 days to beat on Lethal. Oof. Man. I've wanted to do that for a while. That I think would be so fun. But I know for a fact I'd probably get to a certain point where I'd regret it. Like, I'd get really far in the game and be like, oh, this is just such a different experience. You know, it's like when you do Give Me God of War. It, like, completely changes the experience. Now I want to do a one-stance Lethal run. Man. You play all your games on the hardest difficulty? I agree there was a lot of things in Ghost of Tsushima that made the game too easy, even on the hardest difficulty. My only gripe with the game... Wait, what? You felt like even on Lethal, it was too easy? Can you explain what you mean? Like, what did you feel like they gave you that trivialized even the hardest difficulty, Jamal? New Game Plus has a difficulty harder than Lethal. Ghost of Tsushima, Lethal difficulty. You deal more damage, but so do the enemies. I figured out that enemies are faster in Lethal mode, says Reddit. Lethal Plus. There's also Lethal Plus. Here we have Lethal Mode explained. The following mechanics are how they achieve lethal. Death is always close at hand. A single sword strike is lethal. This is how Ghost of Tsushima describes lethal and lethal plus modes. Both Jin and his foes deal considerably more damage. When starting a new game in lethal mode, Jin can be killed by a single sword stroke or with a well-placed arrow. It's not much better later in the game, as Jin can be taken out with 2 or 3 hits under the best conditions. This means that lethal mode will likely feel like the most difficult mode for players just starting out, but once you get your bearings, it usually starts to click. This doesn't only benefit the Mongols, as Jin's blade becomes just as deadly. You'll notice that enemies that once took multiple rounds of attacks, such as the larger brutes, can also be killed in about 3 strikes. Basic enemies will usually take 2 strikes, and many archers will die in 1. Ultimately, this means that the lethal mode greatly benefits high-skilled players who will feel rewarded for mastering the dueling mechanics. Many players even feel that lethal mode is a definitive Ghost of Tsushima experience. Oh, you think the ranged weapons, Jamal, makes it too easy? Thank you, Jack Garland, for a $5 super chat. A great video. Games end with you fighting a parental figure or God. In many cases, both. Look back at your faves. The archers were BS on lethal. Yeah, I would imagine the archers would be pretty frustrating because there's some instances in Tsushima where you feel like you can't really get to them in time. They're going to land. They sometimes just land a shot on you. I couldn't believe you could play it blindfolded while eating a hot dog and hardly ever die. What are you talking about? Sorry, I'm working a little behind on the stream. No, you're fine, Jamal. Grounded is different because you lack resources. It's not even more difficult, says Lobo. Lethal can be trivialized because you can one-shot a ton of enemies, says Lobo. You did Lethal plus, Lobo. Okay. This is interesting information. Guys, if you've been watching for a while or you've been lurking or you just got here, make sure you have hit the like button. Double check that it saves your like. If you're watching over there on purple, make sure you're following the channel and check to see if your Prime is up for renewal. You guys will never see the old Aderinos if you're watching on purple and you're a sub. You get to bypass them. The archers are annoying until you get the skill to let you block arrows. Yeah, I remember playing Tsushima, and that was the only time I ever felt frustration. Was there were some instances where it felt like the archers were a little cheap. It was like, man, you know, but then you get better at... And there's elements of this that I don't really like. This is probably one of the elements of combat in Tsushima I wasn't a huge fan of, but once you manage it, it's just sort of there. You have to almost clear them out first, which I'm not the biggest fan of. Do you know what I'm saying? you come up on an encampment of guys, and you almost have to do the diligence of like running around like a weirdo, creating space and like using your bow to shoot the archers. And it's like, okay, now I can fight. That was the only thing I never was a huge fan of. That, yeah, they yelled "Do Show," so you know you're about to get shot. That and the only questing I didn't like was when Jin is like looking at rice granules on the ground and hoof prints. You have to like walk up and hit like triangle. It did it again. Yeah, I can't tell what that is. Is it affecting both platforms? Like the bitrate fluctuates and I freeze for like half a second. Did you guys see that on purple? Or is that just affecting, is it something that YouTube's doing? Because sometimes the YouTube ingest servers are kind of like, if the guys at purple were looking away, it was like a split second. I don't know what's going on. I've not changed anything. There's a new version of OBS. Maybe I'll have to update it. It like my system doesn't do this throughout the day. It only does it when I'm streaming. So it's something to do with OBS. Your first blip. It's literally happening in OBS. I can see it happen. Like I freeze for like half a second. We've been streaming on this rig for a long time now, for I don't know how long when we bought it. And all of a sudden, recently, the fans spin up regularly. And it's like, we're not doing anything differently than we've ever done. It's like the system isn't just maintaining like a steady, you know. I feel like it started when we started doing 2K streaming on purple is when it started. That's when I feel like it started. You didn't see it? Okay. It's like in Dynasty Warrior games. I used to play back. I always had to clear the annoying archers first. Yeah, it's never fun when you can't just like go to the combat. You have to like take care of them. I didn't see it, but I heard. So it created an audio clip. This is so frustrating because this used to happen on my old rig, and it's like this kind of stuff starts happening again, and I'm like, what is going on? Why is my computer not just able to stream, you know, steadily? Like, what the frick is it doing? I immediately get annoyed when that starts happening because it's like I don't have any way of troubleshooting it. We're just randomly cycling, you know. It's not doing anything other than streaming, which we do all of the time. You heard it while playing a game. The first time we started having trouble was when we tried to stream Death Stranding 2, and then I went in and lowered all the bit rate because we were getting encoding warnings. TLOU Part 2, it's so bizarre. You don't shoot a gun for like 3 hours. It starts with all the flashbacks back to back. There's something wrong about having the porch scene at the start. It robs the weight. It was what I was on about a few minutes ago. Oh, like the chronological. And a single gift that comes in from Dylan. Thank you so much, Dylan. We can talk in Green Room how to fix it. Oh, do you know? I mean, do you know what's happening, Rope? Didn't you get the streaming rig like last year? The one next to me? No, we got that earlier this year. Chris says it's OBS. Yeah, I know it's not the rig. I'm on this thing all the time, typing, watching YouTube videos, talking in the Discord. No, but we get rid of 2K, but I'm super busy today. Okay. Wait, we got rid of it? Or you think we should? Yeah, I'm currently streaming at 2K. Updates in the background? No. No, nothing's running. Oh, you think we should get rid of it? Ever since we turned it on, we've had these weird things. So yeah, I'm tempted to do that. It's like I'm not gonna mess with this. It's in a beta anyway, so I'm wondering if that's part of the problem. You're excited to see Yōtei? I'm excited to see Yōtei. Yeah. Very much so. Lost Soul Aside game previews are out. Oh, are they? Lost Soul Aside preview. Did they just hit? I'm not seeing anything on Google. Are people just like tweeting impressions or something? See here. Oh, they're trying to push in the click to cancel for subscriptions. And the next thing they need to do in click to cancel is give us... It did it again. Encoding overloaded. Consider turning down video settings or using a faster encoder. I don't understand what's happening. I'm not doing anything. I'm just freaking sitting here. I don't get it at all. I truly don't understand. We're not doing anything. I just switched it to medium on the encoder for YouTube. I don't know if that'll help. OBS need update? I don't know. It doesn't make an ounce of sense. We're not doing anything. This is the most non-demanding stream that you could do. The error is in OBS. Like, I literally I can hear my computer. I said this a while ago. This wasn't happening when we started streaming on this rig, but now it's happening. And I think it started when we started doing 2K streaming on Twitch. It'll just randomly spin. The fans like spin up like something's happening, and I'm like, okay. And I look, and nothing's going on. And now I'm hearing it happen. And then when it happens, it's causing an issue. It's like we're having an issue. I don't know. We're not doing anything. We're just sitting here. No, Purple does not use AV1. That's part of the problem, I think. We're doing two different encoders. And we're sending 2K to both. I don't see any previews of Lost Soul Aside. I'm checking Twitter right now. Where did you see previews of Lost Soul Aside? Well, switching the encoder, I can tell it's not spinning up as much. I went in and I switched the encoder for YouTube, and I can tell that it's calmed down. I switch it to medium instead of slow, and I can tell it's not spinning up as much. So maybe it is. Maybe we're just we're just probably putting a little bit too much on the GPU, but the GPU is only running at like 50%, so it doesn't make any sense either. It's a 4060 in there. It shouldn't be that difficult to do what we're doing. We did it for months without a single problem. Yeah, the spin-ups are less extreme now. It's still spinning up, but it's not nearly as extreme. I don't know what the frick it's doing. Yeah, I'm not seeing a single thing. Oh, it's a 4070? Sorry, 4070 Ti, not a 4060. My bad, I misspoke. I'm not seeing a single Lost Soul Aside preview in my feeds. I'm not sure. Unless you saw somebody saying that they're coming or something. I don't know if they announced that somewhere. You're tempted to get the collector's edition of Yōtei? You sent it to me in Discord? You tagged me? Okay, 1 second. That's not a preview. There's no way they're the only ones. We'll take a look at the upcoming action RPG that launches in August that has been anticipated by a lot of people for a very long time, and that is Lost Soul Aside. Yeah, this is not a preview by Fextra Life. I think this is kind of mislabeled. So they're saying it's a preview, but it's not a preview. They're going through and giving you a preview of all the different things that it can do. But it, I just want to see something here. Let me put this all the way up. I just want to see how the stream handles, a bunch of fast action all of a sudden. Okay, it seems fine. Yeah. So they're using the term preview there, I think, a little loosely. Like an actual preview means you went to a preview event and you got hands-on and you're going to talk about it. That's not what that was. So, yeah. I appreciate you trying to draw it to my attention. Yeah. Is the dynamic bitrate? Yes. So, Wired Rope seems to know what it is. I wonder if people that are doing the 2K beta on Purple are running into this problem. Because, again, we didn't start having these weird issues until we started doing that. So, I'm happy to bump it back down for Purple. So, let's see. Could we get 7 more likes on the video? I think we've kind of talked about Ghost of Yotei as much as we possibly can. AC Black Flag, I don't think there's much to talk about there either. So you guys can use the question command. You can submit questions and ask me about kind of anything going on in gaming news. And also, I don't know about The Last of Us Chronological. I don't know if there's much to discuss there either. It's just a cool new update that will potentially, allow one of my biggest criticisms of The Last of Us Part 2. Even though I liked the game, I enjoyed it far more than I expected. I think the Chronological may actually remove one of my biggest criticisms, because one of my biggest criticisms was the pacing. I thought the pacing was the only part that seemed a little disjointed. So, it's an update. I encourage all people who think they want Chronological to play it and realize, oh no, the OG was right. Oh, so Maloon, that's what you were talking about earlier. You were saying, did you boot up and play Chronological, and that's what you were saying? It's like super long before you even get to do anything? Is that your issue with it? I mean, I think that's fair. If you feel like if you feel like the pacing is worse. Oh, you put in 9 hours in the Chronological. That's a lot. That's a lot of hours. Hilly submits a question. Did you enjoy the S&D mode at the Halo event? I have no idea. I didn't see it. You're experiencing the Joel Porch coffee scene like before you shoot a gun. And what's your issue with that? You don't think that sets like a good tone for the game, like that they're going to try to patch things. She's going to try to patch things up. She wants to kind of forgive him. Like, you don't think that sets a good tone for the game and what happens? Yo, it's good, True Devil Fox. How are you? Hope everyone has a great day. Thank you. I hope you have a great day. We're doing great. We're on pace for the week. We're at 300 members already for the week for Friday night. Madam and I stream on Friday nights whenever you guys hit 500. We need a good stretch though. What should we make her play? Does anything come out this week? I think it's next week, right? I don't think anything releases this week that we could have her play. Patapon 1 and 2 replay. new levels In Islander Shores, Myco Punk. Death Stranding 1. With Tony Hawk on the 11th. Donkey Kong's next week. It's next week. Real quick, guys. Smash the like button. Do all the things. Double check if you've got a member renewal or a Prime renewal. I got to take a real quick break, okay? I will be right back. Okay. All right. It should be illegal to cook bacon in the vicinity of another person when you're not making it for them. Right? Just straight to jail. You know? No trial. My whole house smells like bacon. And if that was the law, I'd call the cops on my own wife, because I think that would be the right thing to do, right? I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I believe in justice and law and order, and I would do it. I'm like, right here, officer, take her away. Take her away, bro. You smell the house, right? You smell it. I mean, come on. She's right here. They'd be like, you called the police on your own wife? I'm like, you better believe it. Now I'm craving bacon. Where's the justice? Spread your issue to me and I'm in the UK. That's what I'm saying, dude. That's what I'm saying. That's what we'll do. That's what we'll do Friday night. So the stretch goal is we make Madam play Tony Hawk, because I think that would be hilarious. Yeah. That's the stretch goal. You better have bacon ready for the cops, too. I'm telling you, dude, you could get in big trouble. They'll press double charges. You know what I mean? Pretty Derby. For Friday night, I think you need to play the Fly game on PlayStation or the Horse Scroll game. Oh, is the Fly game actually out? That might be more funny than Tony Hawk. Did the Fly game actually release? That thing looked so funny to me, but also totally ridiculous. Hang on. PlayStation tweeted it, didn't they? Oh, it's end of the month. Yeah, it's July 31st. Okay, so we'll do the Fly game. We'll do the Fly game whenever we're to August 1st. Yeah. We'll do it then. Okay. For serious offenses against the Imperium. That's what I'm saying, dude. That's what I'm saying. We usually only have bacon in the house for my son. I actually don't eat it all that often. I'm supposed to keep like my consumption of that kind of stuff down. I have high blood pressure. I second the Horse Girl game. Yeah, I don't know about that. Let me take a peek here. It came out last month. It's got a 94%. Wait, you're literally running as a girl in a derby? They're treating them like horses. It's free to play. Boys, I don't know. How's Wu Chang? I'm not allowed to answer any questions about it. I'm under NDA. High blood pressure. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. You know, my invitation to the cookout is well made. You know, hypertension and high blood pressure. I mean, you know, we're all in this together. The F did you say? This is Dave Chappelle. We suffer just like you. Slow your roll. Oh my gosh. No, I've never played the Derby game at Dave & Buster's. Nope. It's not a Gooner game. It does. I mean, it looks like it's more of a waifu game than a Gooner game. There's like we have to have different categories now. Yeah, not every waifu game is a Gooner game. I had my triple bypass heart attack because of high blood pressure. Yeah, that's not what you want. That's not what you want. That's not fun. It's not fun to go through those things. Well, we are 2 hours into the show. So we were going to start doing, you know, some on-the-fly things and some, you know, maybe little reactions here and there. What is this? It's one of the best-looking graphical mods I've seen for Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Oh, a hidden one's got one here. Yeah, Mighty Keef is in the mix of it with people who are like trying to cope about Superman doing well. Yeah. He's learning. I had to give him a little bit of guff today, and he followed me back, which is pretty exciting because I've liked his content for a while, and I was like, oh no way, Keith followed me back. But I told him, I was like, you know, as a master of short form comedy, you're really missing out, you know, by not putting his stuff in YouTube Shorts as well as on the Tickety Talk. But I also told him the monetization of Shorts and Talk is terrible. So he should be using those funnels as trailers. Don't put the full skits because his skits are great. You know, shoot for a 4-minute skit and then do like a 1.5 minute, 2-minute trailer. And if they want to see the full skit, you know what I mean? He put it in Shorts. Must have been listening. He liked my tweet about putting them out as Shorts and linking to the full skit, and he did that. But he put the punchline of the skit in the short. And so I think what he needs to do is use them as trailers. Yeah. The "there is no God there" line was so good. There is no God there. He's such a fool. I love it. I still love the one where he's like, take my soul. He like rips his soul out. He blocked me on X because I kept ragging him on about how the Cowboys would lose. I mean, it sounds like you were kind of asking for it, so you know. That sounds deserved. You know what I mean? There is no God there. So I wanted to watch this clip with you guys from Moore's Law is Dead. I did retweet it. I think this is relevant, right? I think this is relevant to some discussions that we've been having lately. This is actually hyper relevant to my video about like proceed with caution. Some people just got it. Yeah. He's very, very funny. I'd make a joke about you being in short form content creator, but I'm 5'6". Yeah, there you go. There you go. So I want to watch this clip with you. I'm gonna have to move my camera to the other side because of where Moore sits. Where he sits here. So I believe Creature was on Twitter last night, and I think he tweeted this. So he retweeted this. Let me move myself over here. All right. So again, this is relevant to a lot of the discussions that we've been having. So let me pause my music, and I just want you to listen to what he says. He's got some behind the scenes information here, and we can't hear it for some reason. Oh, I'm so sorry. That's terrible pause. I don't like doing that to people. Hang on a second. I don't know why it's not working. I don't think I muted the site, did I? No. What the frick? Oh, I see what has happened. We want to be on speakers. It's still not working. What the frick is going on? No, it needs to be on speakers. Yeah, it's like it changed my audio device. Let me go in here into properties and go to microphone.
Without show.
There we go. Okay. I don't know what the frick that was. You did him dirty. I'm so sorry. I don't like doing that to people when you like pause them on a weird pause. Here we go.
Now, what I will now say though is, without showing the screenshots, I have a dev asking, I saw it in screenshots, I should say, a dev asking Xbox for clarification on if there will be Xbox Ally X dev kits, and also what they need to know about compatibility. And then the Xbox outreach customer service person in this behind the scenes forum responded with these quotes. I'm quoting directly here, even if I'm not showing it.
I like how he says forum. I'm just kidding around. I liked how he said it, though.
First quote. For the submission process, there are no changes planned at this point for the Xbox Ally X, by the way, since it is a PC device. There's a direct quote. They directly just call it a PC. They do not say it is an Xbox behind the scenes.
This is really, really important, okay? So this is not about going to war and fighting about what is or isn't an Xbox. What this actually, though, is, I think it's an important distinction for the categorization of the device and what developers are going to be needing to do, because this touches on sort of the play anywhere thing. So again, this is sort of a proceed with caution for anybody who's going to be getting this device. This is helpful information to consumers. This is not about arguing about what is or isn't an Xbox. This is so that consumers are properly informed about what something can do.
Second quote. I am not aware of any test device that will be available. No dev kits. Third quote. For older UWP projects, I'll need to confirm. And long story short, without showing or reading paragraphs of info, this is someone at Microsoft, and I asked a developer contact of mine if I'm interpreting this correctly, and the person told me I am. Yet this to me suggests that with people at Xbox not bothering with dev kits or porting help for pre-Series S or Series X games, and then multiple devs also telling me that Xbox would breach contracts and open legal attacks up to themselves if they had an emulator on PC. And behind the scenes, Xbox is directly calling the Ally X a PC. They are not calling it an Xbox. They're saying, you don't need a dev kit. You don't need any of this. It's a PC. Don't worry. It's just running Windows. I have to take all of this together and warn Xbox users that, unfortunately, if you want your games that aren't Play Anywhere to work on future Xbox consoles, the safest bet is to apparently buy them on Steam, like Colin and I were just suggesting in our conversation now.
So again, this is important, because if you are a consumer and you're considering buying the Ally X, or as he said, future Xbox hardware, this is, again, just making sure you are properly informed about the capabilities of the device. And saying you'll take what this guy's saying with a grain of salt, what he's saying is in line with reality. It makes perfectly good sense that they wouldn't do dev kits. You don't need to do dev kits. It's a Windows device. It's running Windows. It will run the games on Steam. You don't need a dev kit for that. It's not a new piece of hardware that you need to work on, like, porting to or something to that effect. Does that make sense? Like, there just isn't a need for it. And he's saying internally that's how they're viewing it and that's how they're classifying it, which is a pretty good indication of what future pieces of hardware will look like. And again, it's not about like debating or console warring or is it an Xbox or is it not an Xbox. It's about properly informing the consumer about the capabilities of a device. I don't think anybody should be against that. Anybody who has a problem with this video or me or anybody, you should not have a problem with that. If anybody's irritated about this or wants to turn this into a fight, that to me feels very suspicious. It's like you should want the consumer to be properly informed about what the device can or can't do. There's nothing wrong with that. Plenty of us made videos about the PS Portal for the same reason. I wanted consumers to be properly informed about what the device could do. Okay, let's end it. And that was not on my end, the blip.
Behind the scenes, Microsoft seems to frankly be very aloof and uncaring about what the hell happens to their Xbox fans and just kind of crossing their fingers, and hoping they all migrate on Game Pass to PC and just buy it on Steam otherwise. And they don't care what happens to this catalog of games over the next decade as they stop making true consoles and just make PCs they call Xboxes. So
again, he's reiterating something that I have been saying, that I feel like that's what the future devices are going to look like. And that is only because I think it's very important for people to be aware of the direction of what they're doing with hardware so that yes, this is what's happening. This is what the devices will be able to do. So if you're going to purchase one of these devices, that's what you're purchasing. You're purchasing something that will essentially be a Windows device. That could be a big win for you. It really could be a big win for you. You could view that as a huge positive. It could also be viewed as a negative, and if you view it in that way, then you have to make a decision going forward about where you want to primarily game. Okay, I got 2 single gifteds coming in from Stonespire. I know what he's doing. He's trying to do it again. He baited a 20 bomb earlier, and he didn't get it. He got a 10 bomb, and then he had to wait for them to trickle up. So I've been telling you guys, this guy is so faithful. Stonespire is so faithful. Somebody honor this man with the 20 bomb. This guy is so generous to this community, and he's always baiting those 20 bombs. Important info, Lono. The new Wolf is dropping an Astrobot. Guys, stop everything. This is the best news that could have possibly come out of anything today. I need you guys just to all just stop the presses, hold the line, hold the phones. Astrobot new levels and new special VIP bots are dropping tomorrow. There he is. This is it. This is a dream come true. I'm trying not to get emotional about this. This is a pretty big deal. Look at him. Look at him. I'm telling you, you'll be able to play. You're going to be able to play as a wolf. I think we just proved it. I think we just proved it. I think that's pretty definitive proof right there. That's case closed. But is it co-op? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That looked co-op to me. All right, question coming in here from Perfect Image. Did Steam win the game war? The Xbox doing cloud and PlayStation Live service? I mean, this is an oversimplification of what Xbox is doing. It's an oversimplification of what PlayStation is doing. I think Xbox is going into more of an ecosystem publisher role, and I think PlayStation is, obviously they're reassessing their live service strategy, but PlayStation also increased their funding for single-player tentpole titles to higher than it's ever been historically. In the history of the company, they have never spent this much money on single-player games. So I think you're oversimplifying what both companies are doing. I think both Xbox and PlayStation have strategies in place. I also don't think PlayStation is in competition with Steam, and I believe Xbox probably views Steam as competition in the realm of the operating system and the handhelds. I wouldn't be surprised if they view them as a competitor. I'm sorry, I'm stumbling on my words here. I could see them viewing them as a competitor because they're wanting to get that Windows OS updated and stripped down, and the Steam OS is ahead, and that's an advantage that Steam's going to have, in in selling handhelds. They're going to have something that's stripped down and built and centered around gaming, because it's not like an operating system in the traditional sense of like what Windows has been all this time. There's just going to be a lot less bloat and a lot less stuffed in there. So, but I don't think like Steam won and like PlayStation and Xbox have lost. I think they all have their own strategies and their own goals as companies. People seem to forget that competition can be splintered in terms of specific products. Right, like it would kind of be like saying, did Steam beat Nintendo? It's like, I don't think they're really competing with each other. The what would it be? The target audiences that they're going after are very, very different. So it's not like you could say, well, there's way more people playing every day on Steam than Nintendo. And it's like, yeah, that doesn't mean anything, because I don't think they're going after the same consumers. It would be kind of like saying there's way more people using Amazon Prime than are, have gym memberships. It's like, well, they're not really competing. They have overlap, and they certainly have customers that are similar, but they're so different. I know that's an extreme example. Like Nintendo and Steam are certainly in the gaming business, but they're very, very different approaches. My analogy is sort of crude and sort of like not the best, but it just displays, I think, hyperbolically, sort of in an exaggeratory way. I think it shows that like if Steam and Nintendo were competing, they would be targeting similar audiences and having similar approaches to like what's the value proposition? Like what are they trying to get you to do? I think Steam's like, man, we are just happy to be the biggest storefront on PC, and Nintendo's like, we're just happy to be the most successful console handheld hybrid, likely to never be rivaled. I understand just a theory. It doesn't even seem like you really outlined a theory, though. Like, there's not a theory there. You just asked a question, like, did Steam win? And I guess the question would that would need to be asked is, like, win what exactly? Like, what do you think Steam's winning that would then mean the other companies are losing? Most users? Well, okay. Maybe. I mean, mobile would win that, but then who, like, is that fair to count? And again, to be like, well, mobile won. Mobile's got more users. Yeah, but mobile is, again, a different animal, different target audience, and a different product, and a different value proposition. Like, somebody logging in and playing Candy Crush isn't exactly the same as somebody logging 6 hours in, like, an MMO in Steam. Yeah, if you're talking raw users, again, I don't think they're going for the same audiences. I don't think they're going for the same consumers. So yes, Steam's going to have the larger user base, but I don't think any of the companies, I don't think like Nintendo or PlayStation or Xbox view that as like, oh, they won, we lost. I definitely think they have very, very different targets as far as the consumers that they go after. You see the Bungie gambling fiasco? I didn't get a chance to look into it. We can look into it now because we're sort of in the second half of the show, which is more freeform. We're sort of off topic. We can, we talked for 2 hours about Ghost of Yotei and other things. Destiny Bulletin, I believe, tweeted about it. So they linked to this here, a Game Post article that is stipulating here or claiming that how low can this company go? Destiny 2 players slam Bungie Day RNG emblem lottery as literal gambling. Let's see here. Bungie Day's mystery emblem system has Destiny 2 fans calling it literal gambling, slamming the developer over low drop chances and a lack of transparency. Every year, players celebrate Bungie Day, a tradition started by the community and embraced by the studio itself. I think they should have a Chris Baird and a Deej Day. I think they should have that. It's usually a feel-good mix of charity, cosmetics, merch discounts, and community events. On one side, there's the Bungie Foundation. Let's see here. Hang on. I got a pop up here. I don't want you guys getting hit. There we go. Which helps support children's health, global disaster aid, disaster diversity initiatives. On the other hand, the Bungie Store sale gives players a chance to grab some Destiny gear, okay? This year's Bungie Day allowed the same routine, a week-long store sale and donation incentives for those who support the Foundation's causes. Okay. How's it work? The backlash started right after the official Destiny account on Bungie's limited store. The deal features a 20% discount on items when spending a fixed amount on purchased items. What stood out was the mention of a mystery emblem gifted with every purchase. According to the official press release, a mystery Destiny 2 emblem will be granted with every purchase, pulled from a curated pool of classic Bungie store designs. Among them is Lockbox, a new Destiny 2 emblem with limited quantities. What? Making the drop a rare collector's moment. It's an emblem. Why would you do that? You don't need to do that. Why wouldn't you just give it to everybody? They're supporting something that helps charity? What the... Well, they didn't mention publicly, but fans quickly figured it out, is that Lockbox isn't just rare, it is random. The tracking site Emblem Report reports now that only 39 people have it. The drop rate, roughly 16% per order. Players have no control over which emblem they get, and there's no way to see what you received unless you claim it through email. What are they doing? What's the point of this? Why wouldn't you just give it to everybody that orders? Like, there's no one's doing this. I guess that's not true. I was like, nobody's doing this for the emblems, but they are. But don't you think that would increase purchases if, like, you just got it guaranteed every time? Do they honestly think people are just going to keep doing, like, listen how stupid this sounds. If we make it rare and we have a low drop rate, like, people will order multiple times? Did they honestly think that's even a possibility? That's absolutely foolish to think that consumers would do that. Why, if you give it to everybody every single time, you would probably actually get more purchases. One whale is worth 1,000 normal users. But did they think a whale's going to do that, Zoob? Do you think somebody's actually going to purchase? This is not in game. They got to go to, like, the Bungie store. I don't know. I don't maybe understand the behavior of whales. But that seems out of step. It didn't sit well with the community. Comments flooded. Destiny 2 creator Luckstruck9 said, "This feels like spitting in the face of the community. The obvious problem is having a new emblem only available through RNG. To make matters worse, you will not know what your mystery emblem is unless you're able to claim it." Another content creator, Sneaky Beaver, we got some great names here. The mystery emblem thing is just bad. It just screams throw wallet, play the lotto, and pray. Another player, Adam Onyx, acknowledged the discounts and the idea of the bonus emblems, but said the way it handled crossed the line. "I get the deals and the emblems," they wrote, "but not being able to choose which one you get makes this literal gambling. Really scummy way to squeeze your player base for money, in my opinion. Especially since, this money goes to charity." Whales absolutely will make multiple purchases for this? What the huh? Another longtime player named Mislead added, "Please, can we not have gambling to get a new emblem? This is so out of touch with your community, it's insane." The lockbox emblem is pretty cool, I will say. That's not bad. One user didn't mince words, calling it out plainly. "Gambling for emblems, how low can this company go?" Another player echoed the frustration, saying, "This ain't it. 1 step forward and 4 steps back with you guys all of the time." They took issue with Bungie labeling the emblem a gift while hiding it behind random draw, calling it misleading and unfair. While the mystery item is a gift, the fact that you included one brand new emblem in the grouping is very scummy. Like, we're talking Activision levels of scummy. 1/6 per chance. 1 in 6 chance per purchase. What's interesting too is this isn't Activision levels of scummy. This is Bungie levels of scummy. Like, Bungie's been doing this kind of stuff for a long time. They're the ones that had the idea for the Eververse. Isn't it charity? Yeah, up here, doesn't the money go to charity? Bungie store sale gives players a chance to grab Destiny gear and unlock digital items. Yeah, doesn't everything? Yeah, everything supports the foundation. Everything you buy from them supports the foundation. So, like, yeah, I get that it's going to charity, but, like, why would you have people spending money in a way where they don't know what they're going to get and the chance of getting it is so incredibly low? I mean, again, that just doesn't feel like that's in the spirit of the Bungie celebration and buying things that then helps a charity. That doesn't seem in the spirit of that. If you want to sell, that's like, if you want to sell raffle tickets, then sell raffle tickets, and then everybody knows what they're doing. We're all buying a ticket, and we might win something. That's okay. Then that goes to charity. I think that's completely fine. But, Eugene, the issue is, it's not clear. People didn't know that there was this rarity of the low drop chance, like 16% drop chance. So I think that's why it's fair for people to be upset. Charity raffles, you know exactly what you're purchasing. It sounds to me like people feel like this was a little bit of a blindside situation where like they thought they were basically buying and getting this emblem, and then they're getting blindsided by the fact that like, well, no, it's a low chance. You do know what you are getting. You are getting what you bought. The emblem is a bonus and has some cool RNG added in. That's why it's with every purchase. If they're not informed. It sounds like they're informed, but maybe not well enough. Let me reread what people took issue with, because it sounds like a mystery emblem will be granted with every purchase, pulled from a curated pool of classic designs. So they do know among them is Lockbox, a new Destiny 2 emblem with limited quantities, making the drop a rare collector's moment. So they do let people know it's a rare and limited quantity thing. Now, the article is saying what they didn't mention publicly but fans quickly figured out is that Lockbox isn't just rare, it's random. The tracking site reports that now only 39 people have it. The drop rate is roughly 16% per order. Players have no control over which emblem they get, and there's no way to see what you received unless you claim it through email. So it sounds like people like understood it, but they're like, but the thing is like the way you've set this up is it's too, like maybe it's too low, or I don't know. Maybe they could have done it like the first so many orders get it or something. Like limited quantity. Maybe just have a clear dividing line of a raffle. You know what I mean? Because if you know you're buying into a raffle, that's different. Like I feel like people, for whatever reason, misunderstood and thought they were like getting the emblem, or I don't know. PlayStation Plus catalog is getting Cyberpunk 2077, A Biotic Factor, and Banishers and Planet Zoo, Risk of Rain 2. These are all great games here. My kiddos played Bluey for a little while, Planet Zoo. I mean, Banishers, the combat was a little rough, but it was a cool story, and it had very, very cool vibe to it. Cyberpunk. Isn't A Biotic Factor multiplayer open world survival crafting genre? Up to 6 players can choose their PhDs, build their scientists, and gear up. Yeah, wait a minute. I felt like we looked into this one, and we thought that one would be fun. Let me look this one up. I thought A Biotic Factor was one that we thought would be a fun one. A Biotic Factor trailer. Here's the release date trailer from 12 days ago. It's hilariously fun.
Ah, you're stuck here too, eh?
There's no telling what could have found its way into the facility.
We're trapped, aren't we?
We may have inadvertently triggered an apocalypse in one small slice of infinity. There are forces at play here we barely understand.
We need to find a way through and put an end to this.
You made it!
This is no end, no beginning. For such things do not exist.
There you go, 1.0. 1.0 is available on the 22nd, and it's going to be on PS Plus. So there you go. Bluey, Planet Zoo, Risk of Rain 2, Tropico 6, New World, Eternum, Twisted Metal 3, Twisted Metal 4 for premium. There you go. Not a bad month. Yeah, it's not going to include Phantom Liberty, Nova Hands. It's not going to include Phantom Liberty. So the Cyberpunk that they're putting on PS Plus is just going to be the base game. There are a bunch of board games on sale right now for Amazon Prime Day. Guys, remember to use my Amazon link below if you're going to use my link. I mean, I can obviously make some board game suggestions to you guys. These are ones that we play regularly and we really, really enjoy. I'll show you just a couple here that are on sale. Let's see here. Okay. It's not going to like pop up my stuff, is it? Okay, I'm not signed in. Yeah. So these are all great board games marked down significantly. So Splendor is a great one, marked down from 40 to 20. Azul, really great one that we like, marked down from 31 to 20. Codenames is a great group game, marked down from 25 to 15. Settlers of Catan, only an $8 discount. That's not bad, but that's always a pretty expensive game. And then 50% off here for Ticket to Ride, down from $50 to 25. So what does your link do? It doesn't do anything for you. I just get an affiliate kickback. So if you're ordering from Amazon on the regular, use somebody's affiliate link. A lot of creators have that. It's in my description below. You can use the Amazon command as well. So, and then it's good for a while. Like anytime you order anything from Amazon, I think it saves it for 30 days. Kai Cenat is on the cover of Time Magazine. The most influential digital voices, 100 creators. Man, good for him. I'm telling you, what he and iShowSpeed have done for streaming is so significant. Even if you don't find them entertaining, I think they have really, really advanced streaming's presence in the world. More and more people pay attention to streamers and the idea of streaming than probably ever before. I order from Amazon so much I always forget to use your link. Yeah. I mean, if you as long as you're hitting it, I think like every 14 or 30 days or whatever the number is, it should save it. It should save it, and then yeah. Kai changed the game for sure. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people think about streaming very differently now, because of him and because of speed. Stream ends when? I don't really have a set time. Yeah, we don't actually have to do a lot of planning for tomorrow, because what we're going to do tomorrow is we'll do Ghost of Yotei State of Play waiting room, and then we'll co-stream Ghost of Yotei State of Play in the evening. So tomorrow will be a really, really long day. Those are usually very fun because they're just very laid back, and we just get to kind of chill and just hang out and talk and just talk gaming with no particular agenda. I may end up ending early a little bit today so I can put more time into Wu Chang Fallen Feathers, so that I want to get as much time in that game as possible, so we can give you guys a really quality video. Yo, it's good, Gio. How are you? After Microsoft cuts Rock the Studio, Rare is going to discuss the future of Sea of Thieves in a live stream tomorrow. Really? That's we'll obviously try and see if we can't, we'll just kind of maybe cover that on the fly. The stream ends after you hear him say, I tell you what we're going to do. Yeah, I definitely say that. Tell you what we're going to do. A lot of the times I let you guys extend the stream, like if we're having like a really crazy day and people are going nuts. Okay. So right now the extension would be if we hit 400, which would take a lot. It would take a lot. But I can give you guys. We can do another 30 minutes to an hour or so, just kind of chilling, talking about things. I don't think I have anything else to like pull up and react to. We had the Moore's Law clip. Unless there was stuff you guys wanted me to react to. The Starfield video I felt like was too long. I like the idea of reacting to content, but it's always tough when it's a 20-minute video. That ends up being a 40-minute reaction. That's a bit much. That game's going into maintenance mode for sure. Yeah, I mean, you feel kind of bad. You feel kind of bad for the team at Rare. It's like, they've done good work with Sea of Thieves, but sadly, that's really all they have, to show for their time over there. And it's like, it's a bit of a bummer because, I feel like they could have done a lot more, but I mean, if that's what they were passionate about and that's what they wanted to build, great. But like the clip that I put up today, showed, it's like if you don't really know why you're getting closed, that email exchange is like, well, the teams that we shut down, it's because of loss of leadership or loss of passion. And it's like, what the frick? Like, that's why? That just seems so non-distinct. Fine, I'll carry the team on my back. Omar says, guys, we can get there. Stone Spire, man, you guys, this guy's always setting up the 20 bombs and the 10 bomb dunkers, and it is he's not been getting those tag team partners lately, and he set that one up. Omar's going to help it, though, and say, let's move. Yeah, vibe check. I put together my little video this morning on my phone, and I thought that was one of the funnier parts. It's like, yeah, he's got to go do a vibe check, unless you're doing a literal vibe check. Melina Jurgens is talking here about, let's see what she's saying. She's always super charming. Let's see here.
Melina here. It's been a while since you've heard from me, and that is because we were just incredibly busy creating and launching Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, which, by the way, is also coming to PlayStation 5 on August 12th. So even more of you will be able to play it. Yay!
Oh, I thought she was going to say, I thought they were going to do something. The tweet made it sound like Senua herself takes us on a journey behind the scenes making Senua's Saga and what it's like to play Senua again. Oh, there's a YouTube video an hour ago. Melina Jurgens official. Okay, see, I'm not gonna react to this. If you want to support her, she's got a YouTube channel, Melina Jurgens official, 136 views. It's a 13-minute video. I don't like to react or play stuff until it's at least 2 days old. So, no, there's no code to use out. There's no code. Hang on. Just use my link. Just use my link. Woman's an absolute vision. Yeah, she's fantastic. She's so good. I mean, it's a shame that I was so disappointed in the second game because I mean her performance was fantastic. Like she doesn't dictate the writing and the story and stuff. And Joker Quinn gifts a member as well and says many hands make light work. These guys seem to believe that you guys can get the 400. Let's see if you can do it. Get way ahead of the curve. You can make Madam play the Tony Hawk game on Friday night if we get to stretch. And it's always fun watching her play a game she's unfamiliar with. Even her playing Death Stranding for like an hour the other night I thought was pretty funny. She has very different approaches to things. I think it's entertaining. Yay, Ninja Theory is safe from the Xbox shopping block for now. I think Ninja Theory is probably safe because of their capture studio and the tech that they built and what they'll be able to do to like probably help and support other studios. So I would imagine they're safe for that reason. I don't know. You obviously, would hope that they get sort of funded and set up to do a third Hellblade. And again, my hope would be that they would sort of abandon a lot of what they did in Hellblade 2. I think they got a little too infatuated with the motion capture, and I would love to see them do sort of a return to what made the combat feel so much better in the first game, just a more free-flowing combat system. There's different opinions on that. There are people that thought it was really, really cool. I didn't. I think that's it's up for the player to decide. But I thought the first game's I thought the first game's combat was superior. We want Bleeding Edge 2. Yeah, I would just like a third Hellblade. I mean, I would enjoy. I think this is again specific to me and not everybody. So I'm not trying to speak for everybody here, but I think I would enjoy Hellblade 2 a lot more. Like if they brought it to PS5 and said, "Hey, we wanted to overhaul the combat system to make it feel more like the first game." I don't know. The second game of story was bland. Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the story either. I thought the first game's story was so powerful and poignant and well built, and there's like all this progression and change. And I felt like the second story was very static. Like I felt like not a lot happened. She kind of doesn't really progress as a person or a character. It just seems very repetitious. They could do a director's cut. Yeah, maybe. I know I'm asking for something that's absurd. I know what I'm expecting or hoping for is completely unreasonable, and I own that. It's like, yeah, I know that's pretty unreasonable for them to completely rebuild a combat system that they invested lots of time, energy, and research into. They did a lot of work. They did a lot of work to make that happen. And to be like, man, I really would love to see you guys basically overhaul and essentially, effectively, for all intents and purposes, it'd be like them removing it. So I know that's not going to happen. And I think I accept that. I accept that they went a direction that I didn't like. That's going to happen. That's why, I'm not super, super concerned, but I'm a tiny bit concerned with the with the Ghost of Yotei. We're just seeing a lot of footage and a lot of shots that show this sort of larger open spaces, larger, draw distances and bigger scope for Ghost of Yotei. And I just hope that they don't run the ship aground by saying, well, we wanted to make the game bigger, we wanted to make the map bigger, because I think that could really, really hurt the quality. I haven't made the video yet, but I want to make a video kind of talking about that. I want to talk about why I think Tsushima's open world is so well built, so balanced. Is Venom confirmed title or a rumor? I saw somebody on Twitter, I didn't look into it very deep, that the Venom game was basically confirmed. It looked like a fake screenshot, though. Did you guys see the same thing I saw? I feel like that was just somebody... let me go to the latest here. I don't think it's been confirmed. It's always been a pretty significant rumor. Oh, Mag talked about it? I trust Mag. What did Mag say? Venom was never announced. I always thought that Venom made sense. Like, logically speaking, it it made sense to me because they discovered with Miles Morales that they could have a lot more success, revenue, and profit from doing a spin-off game in the same map and engine and, reuse all those assets instead of doing DLC. So when they opted to not do DLC in Spider-Man 2, I thought, I think we're going to get that Venom game. It's coming next year in Wolverine 2027. So I trust Mag. Mag has good sources. I also like Mag. I feel like he's a good guy. He says, I've got big news from the Insomniac camp. Come check it out. So he said this 4 days ago. Okay, it's a 5-minute video. I tell you what we're going to do. Let's just watch it. It's old enough. I'll put a link in chat. I don't like using people's content until it's at least 2 days old. This is a 4-day-old video. Let's see what our friend Mag here has to say. Middle-aged gamer guy. He's a bourbon drinker like myself, so he's a good guy.
Good day, everyone, and welcome to the Mag Show. Today, we are going to be talking about news that I have received from the Insomniac camp over at Sony Interactive in regards to the roadmap of their next few games, and might shock a little bit, and maybe not shock a little bit. Either way, Insomniac's next game is not, and I repeat, is not Wolverine. Their next game is going to be Venom. That is correct, ladies and gentlemen. You heard.
Let's do classic reaction content here and say Insomniac's cooked and PlayStation just take the L, because that's terrible. I'm just kidding.
Heard it here first. It is going to be Venom, and it's going to be releasing in 2026. And it's going to be, quote, larger than Miles Morales, but smaller than Spider-Man 2 in size and scope. So we can expect it to be around the same length of time, just maybe in a bigger area. I'm not really 100% sure. When I get more information, I will let everybody know, of course. But
I would imagine, I'm just going to speculate here, if it's larger than Miles but smaller than Spider-Man 2, they would use most of the map of Spider-Man 2, but not need all of it, because there would be obviously areas that you really wouldn't want to take Venom, given his abilities would be quite a bit different. So I could actually see this being a really, really good endeavor, and if they sell it for that $40 or $50 price point, I think people would like that. I think this is one of the bonuses of seeing $80 games is a huge bummer, but it can open up the market and make space for $40 and $50 games.
Either way, it's going to be a standalone title, just like Miles Morales, but it's going to be a little bit larger than that and a little bit smaller than Spider-Man 2. The next piece of news that's coming out is that Wolverine will indeed drop in 2027. So do not expect Wolverine next year like a lot of people were, but it's going to be Venom first in 2026 and then Wolverine in 2027.
I was one of the people that thought Wolvie was coming next year, and I thought we were going to see Venom as a surprise release holiday or fourth quarter this year. So I've got the timing correct, as in Venom comes first, then Wolverine, but I got the dates wrong, as if what Mag is saying is true. This seems to me to be a really, really long dev window for Wolverine, which I would say is better than one that's too short. I also think they probably had to build entirely new systems, and they really wanted to get it right, and I trust Insomniac. They got the Spider-Man swinging through the city better than I think it's ever been done. I think they are the archetype. If you're trying to build a Spider-Man game, they have basically shown you this is what it should feel like for Spidey to swing through the city. So I would say I trust them. And people are asking, you're taking his word like gold, it's crazy. I trust Mag. Mag said a bunch of things recently that have been spot on. He has contacts at these companies. Mag does not run fake news. Mag does not run with stuff that he hasn't gotten from reliable sources. I don't think he's not that kind of person, and he's not that kind of content creator. So I would say this is a pretty rock solid piece of information that we have received from him.
That being the case, it's not really much of a surprise that a Venom game was coming. If anybody played Spider-Man 2, we all know that Venom was in there and there was a playable section as Venom. People really enjoyed it. I did, but I mean, I prefer to play as Spider-Man. I find him to be more nimble, and I like the maneuverability and all that stuff. And Venom was fantastic. However, it wasn't my favorite part of the game. But either way, that's what's coming next. And listen, Insomniac has not let me down yet, so I have no reason as to not to buy this game. Of course, I'm going to buy this game day one. And then, of course, Wolverine in 2027. Absolutely, I'm going to be there day one to buy that as well. Now,
also, I kind of agree with him about Venom. Like, it was just kind of a fun, somewhat throwaway moment in the game. Like, it was entertaining. It was cool. It was a nice surprise. But I do kind of agree with him. It was my least favorite part. An entire game is Venom. I'll be very interested to see what they do with that. Like, he's going to need a pretty extensive move set and abilities and some fun things that he gets to do. And then you're also going to have to obviously equip everybody with sort of like sound wave weapons to actually do any kind of damage to him or hurt him or slow him down. So it's probably gonna, I wonder who it's gonna be too. Like, is this gonna be like is this gonna be prologue, prequel territory, or are we gonna go semi-sequel territory and it's like Eddie Brock or something like that? So leakers can have a good track record until they don't, but people listening to these rumors also should have an understanding that company plans change over time. I think what he's saying is very reasonable and very believable. I don't think this is an outlandish claim, so that also, I think, helps me believe it as like, yep, this is probably the plan. I think it was clear to me that the plan was to do a Venom game and not DLC. And I think, again, we saw that template and we saw them learn that. Spider-Man 1 DLC was not all that well received. It didn't do that well. And then Miles Morales did very well for them. So I think this is a very reasonable and logical thing, which somebody could push back and say, well, he might be just guessing because it's very reasonable and logical. Mag has not done that in the past. He's gotten a lot of things right. I actually think he has a better average than most recently, and he doesn't really build his brand around that. You know, he's been kind of doing the podcast thing and the content thing. So I think this is a trustworthy one. And again, all leaks are subject to change because they're not been confirmed and officially announced by the companies.
Let's talk about Spider-Man 3. Now, this is just going to be a little bit of speculation on my part, but let's break down the whole history of what they've been doing with these characters up to this point. 2018, of course, we had Spider-Man 1 on the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 4 Pro, and that sold to the tune of about 20 plus million copies. Then we had Miles Morales in 2020, sold about 14.4 million copies on the PS4 and the PS5, and then Spider-Man 2 to lesser acclaim in terms of sales. Now, let's break that down for 1 second and not making excuses or anything, but let's face it. It was in the third year of the PS5 release. PS5s were incredibly difficult to get for the first year and a half because of the whole pandemic situation, and they didn't offer it on the PlayStation 4, which obviously would have boosted those sales with a way larger install base than the PS5 at that point. But either way, they still sold 11 million plus units. So they all did incredibly well, and I would expect nothing less. Actually, I expect a lot more from these other titles coming forward as they are approaching over 100 million PS5s at this point. I would expect the sales to be somewhere in the range of the Miles Morales and Spider-Man 1.
I could even see Venom performing better in its opening months and opening year than Spider-Man 2. I could see it selling more copies because the price point will, I'm assuming, and I think this is a fair assumption to make, I'm assuming it will be a lower price, so I think that will help it, and there's way more PS5s in circulation. So I actually think you could see Venom be more successful, you know, commercially in its opening year. So, I also think we need to remember, Spider-Man 3, according to that one Insomniac leak, they were considering breaking it into 2 parts and having each part be $50. So I'm curious if they're going to go forward with that, because that's in line with one of my predictions about AAA companies. They are going to start doing smaller projects, placing smaller bets so that the production can be lower as far as budgetary costs, and then making back profit margin is a little bit more reasonable. So if you spend less time on part 1 of Spider-Man 3, sell it for $50, potentially drive more quantity of sales up, you are maybe on a faster track to ROI on that investment.
Sales. Now, the other thing I was going to talk about is, when do you think we're going to see Spider-Man 3? Well,
I'm going to guess, I don't know what Mag's about to say, I'm guessing that Spider-Man 3, they're targeting, I would think, 2029 launch title for PS6. That would be my guess. Or maybe 2030, 1 year in, because it's such a big title, they would maybe want to wait for some good market saturation. I imagine, though, PS6 non-cross-gen, but with how well Spider-Man 2 has done and will continue to do, I mean, it's always in the top of the sales charts, I could see them not wanting to turn their back on 100+ million PS5 users. So whether or not it's cross-gen, I don't know, but I definitely see this not showing up until PS6 is in play.
The way it looks, it says 2018 was Spider-Man. 2020 was Miles Morales, which, let's face it, was going to be a DLC that was probably co-developed at the same time anyway as the first game, and then they decided to release it on its own for a lesser price. And then, of course, in 2023. So you had like a 5-year gap in there between 2018 and 23 for the actual sequels of Spider-Man 1 and 2. I also do not expect Spider-Man 3 to drop in 2028 as a result of that. I'm not going to go 5 years and then 5 years. I think they're going to take a 2-year break, and then they're going to release Spider-Man 3 in 2029. That is just speculation on my part, but probably a safe bet, because you're not going to release one game a year. I don't think they're going to be able to produce all that in such a short period of time. So obviously a lot of their focus is going to be on the Venom game right now as they're wrapping that up for...
I also think they're going to have to do a pretty significant shift with Spider-Man 3 to justify people wanting to come back to a new game. They're going to have to do something with Spider-Verse. Again, this is just my speculation. They're going to leverage some of the tech that shows up in Spider-Man 2 as well as Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. I believe you're going to need to do Spider-Verse. I don't think people are going to want to be in New York City one more time. I know it's Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I know that's where he's from, but I don't think for the third game that will work. I think you're going to have to show people, yes, we are leaving New York behind, and I think they're going to have to do it with the Spider-Verse
next year. And then, of course, there's still full steam ahead for Wolverine for 2027. But either way, that's the news that I've got for everybody today.
Thanks so much, Mag. I'm going to put a link in chat, guys. Check that out. We've been wanting to kind of, incorporate content like that here and there, and we want to support the videos as well. So there'll be a link in chat, maybe a link in the description as well, and then always support the original content whenever we do something like this, okay? Spider-Man's got to be in New York. I would see them saying we're going to start in New York, but we really wanted to go bigger and we really wanted to expand the game, and then they're going to go Spider-Verse. Right? Is there any truth to Mike Tyson's Punch-Out being remastered for multiple platforms? I've not heard that. Are you just goofing around? I've not actually heard that. Sorry, I zoned out. Is the show over now, or are you ending early? No, we're just hanging out. I just watched a video and kind of reacted to what Mag said about Venom, Wolverine, and Spider-Man. So we may end up starting to use that content on the channel. If we do, make sure and support it. Support the original content. We want to make sure that we're putting out as much news, info, and content as we can, as long as we feel like it's good and high quality and worthy of your attention. So, I thought I read it somewhere. So you're saying you thought you read about Mike Tyson Punch-Out remastered? No. I mean, in January, it says new Punch-Out game may not happen, future in doubt. I'm not seeing anything, brother. I'm not sure what you saw, whether it was somebody goofing around on a tweet or something. It could have been maybe a fan-made project just for fun or something. Also, with AI, you never know what you're looking at. So maybe you saw something that was just doing something for fun. That's possible as well. Oh, somebody asked me what I think about the PlayStation 6 Detective Seed saying 2029. Well, here's Seeds chiming in on the topic as well. Should see Insomniac's Venom game either in September event or they give it to Jeff for the Game Awards. I believe Mag broke the release window already for 2026. So there you go. Seeds has had a lot of reliable information as well lately from some of the people he knows at PlayStation. He got some of the stuff right about Last of Us port, God of War port. He knew that there was something coming in the summer. There was an event. He didn't have the explicit details, but he knew there was an event being planned, and then it ended up being that State of Play. Joe says, I don't remember following this guy. Who is this? Joe, what's good? Joe Firecrow, how are you? You spoke in my channel back in 2020 before I was unfairly banned, and I went by Say No to Rage back then. So you would have followed me for Destiny content back in the day under the name Say No to Rage. I've been on YouTube for 5 years. We were welcomed back to Twitch in February. Dan Clancy looked into the situation, and he welcomed me back to the platform. So I appreciated him doing that for me. It was kind of a big deal to have that properly handled. So I appreciate him doing that. Cool of you to respond. Yeah. I've been willing to answer any questions about, how that went down for folks that are still following on Twitch or coming back around. I feel like you are deserving of an answer because a lot of people don't know what happened or how it went down. And if you're following me and you come back and use a Prime sub or support or watch or whatever, I think it's fair to be like, yeah, this is what went down, rather than to not speak to it. Okay, I tell you what we'll do. This is what we'll do. It's 12:30. It's almost 12:30. I'll give you guys a half an hour if you want to extend. We've got some time. We can extend, but we'd have to hit a milestone of being ahead. So if you guys can make this hit 400 with gifteds, renewals, whatever, both platforms participate here, both Purple and YouTube. I'm streaming on both platforms. You can participate and help us hit that goal by gifting or renewing. And you guys can do it. I've seen you guys do it before, and we'll just keep streaming if that's the case. So you guys got about 34 minutes to do that. Mr. Frugal with 43 months. I don't know why people think it's too soon for a new console. PS5's been out for 6 years already. No, it hasn't. PS5 has been out for 4.5 years. That is incorrect. So it's been out for 4.5 years, and the PlayStation 6, I think the PlayStation 6 will likely land in 2029. I felt like they were going to extend this one a little bit. This gen a little bit. The PS5 Pro is probably helping with that. So I think 2029 is a good window. I think originally they were probably shooting for 2028, but I think the Sicky and some things that have happened have extended it. So yeah, 6 years. Yeah, that's just not even close to accurate. Yeah, it's actually funny enough. If you look at the actual PS5 release date, it's not even 4.5 years yet because it was November of 2020. So it was only 2 years in 2020 that you could get it. So for all intents and purposes, it basically landed in 2021. So all of 21, all of 22, all of 23, all of 24. It's basically been out for 4 years and 9 months. 4 years and 9 months. So not even close to 6 years. We haven't even hit 5 years yet. Sorry, I went from when I built my computer. Yeah, no, it's okay, Frugal. I was like, man, you're just, maybe I thought it was a typo. Victor says, renewal for the goal. Thank you. If you guys want your renewals to count for the goal, you do have to be at a Member Plus or a VIP, so consider upgrading. Thank you so much, Mr. Victor. That's fun to say. And a single gift that comes in from XCal and says, we can do it, y'all. I mean, you guys really could single gift it all the way there. I mean, if everybody does if everybody's, a $5 gifted, gift a single. Purple, you can do it. YouTube, you can do it. It adds up quick. We got a question submitted. And Enjoy with the 25-month Member Plus. I'll take a free renewal for the goal. You can do that, and we're at 310. Thank you so much for doing that. Purple, it's your time to shine here. You're getting really beat in the contest today, 46-3. And Stonespire says, I missed the Black Flag news. Can you recap? The Hidden One, fellow YouTuber, and they also have a Twitter account if you want to follow them at The Hidden One or on YouTube, The Hidden One. They cover Assassin's Creed information, and they noticed that Assassin's Creed Black Flag had been updated on the back end of Steam and having features added that were not there at launch, most notably like difficulty options. And the observation was that maybe they're gearing up for the Assassin's Creed Black Flag remake that has all but been confirmed. There was even the merch company that makes like the statues that basically confirmed that Black Flag is indeed real. So, We're having a bit of a back and forth here from Falky and Game Logic on Twitter. So David said that lost sales are not part of profit and loss. They're only used in economic and business case options analysis. So he's replying to my tweet here. So I wasn't quite sure what he was saying, so I wanted some clarification. So I said, in your opinion, what is the relevancy of lost sales to his comment about the first-party cost not being a part of Game Pass profitability? And Falky says, it suggests or illustrates that Game Pass is not a true profit center. It is simply a revenue stream which relies heavily on the support of other businesses' units to fund the service. Okay? And Game Logic says, I would also say that lost sales is an opportunity cost and never reflected on a GAAP compliant balance sheet and SEC submission. There is nothing like that in regulatory accounting principles. The closest thing you would get is allowable write-downs permitted by a given national tax code, and those things are even less feasible with software. So my point has been that cost would never have been in a discussion for allocation to Game Pass as a matter of record. For internal strategic analysis, it would be, but that content almost never goes out for public record, and it's even rare that it gets to shareholders. It's the domain of those accountable to P&L, and multi-trillion-dollar corps don't engage in loss leader strategies. It being profitable or not is not the issue. The fact that the investment has not led to overwhelming capture of market share is a more significant topic. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is well stated and I think helpful to think through like how they're internally looking at it and why. I don't think that like they're trying to mislead shareholders or the public. If they were trying to do that, they would get in serious trouble. I just said on the outlook from the outside looking in, it just looks like you're cooking the books. Like you keep telling people it's profitable, but you're not including one of the most single expensive things that keeps the thing going, right? He's basically saying they would never, and here's why. Like it wouldn't make any sense for them to do that internally. But that doesn't mean that it still, I think, fully supports the idea that it's an expensive endeavor that has caused problems. And Garsky73 decides to go big with a VIP brand new. I count that as a double, so we're going to 312. We're going to 312. Thank you so much, Garsky. I appreciate that so much. That is a huge one. Right out of the gate. Never been a member here before and chooses VIP. Thank you very much for doing that. If I could get 10 Garskys a day, that would be phenomenal. It would be phenomenal. We need new members. We need new member pluses. We need new VIPs, man. That's what we need. The gifteds are the lifeblood, and that is relying on the generosity of others, which is very, very great that we have that. We're very blessed to have such a giving community, as evidenced by Siriu with the 5 bomb that takes us to 317. The gifting is so consistent and so generous. But we can't count on that, man. You can't. We're not entitled to the generosity of others, man. It's so kind that people do that every single month and every single week. So thank you for doing that, Siriu. Could you recap the Black Flag news? I missed it earlier. Yeah, you must have stepped away, Stone. I answered your question. I'll answer it again. There was an update to Assassin's Creed Black Flag on Steam, adding features that were not there at launch. The hidden one, who's a YouTuber, and also they're on Twitter as well, they saw it. And because they saw it, they're speculating that this is either a quality of life update to the base game of Black Flag, or it's sort of the beginnings of them getting ready to push out the Black Flag remake. There was a merch company like that makes statues that essentially confirmed that the Black Flag remake is in fact real. So you speak honestly, I respect that. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That's very kind. We are obviously operating in a space on YouTube, and there's Twitter and other places where it's very easy, and this isn't unique to me. A lot of content creators get misrepresented, so I've always really encouraged people, come here and ask me my position on things. If you heard, man, I heard that Reforge guy said this. Well, come and ask me. I had a couple people in my comments last night that I was, correcting, and I was like, yeah, that's, I never said that. Helldivers is a particular subject right now that a lot of people should just come and ask me what I think, or if they've been here. Many of you can bear testimony to the fact that I was okay with that going to Xbox from the beginning. I think live service games play by different rules, and so I think going forward, That's going to continue to be the biggest challenge for live service games. There was a really great thread on Twitter about how much attention fighting that a lot of these companies are now going for and how difficult it really, really is to get attention. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges with live service games is not just getting people in the funnel, but re-engagement. I know Splitgate is having some of their own challenges with that in particular, which is another thing that I sort of said was going to be a concern. So I think, live service strategies going forward, not just with PlayStation games, but probably with any company, they're going to be very agile and they're going to be very trying to adapt. So if in the future, PlayStation feels like we've got to put a live service game out and we need to make sure there's like a Switch 2 version, I don't think that's alarming or worrying because I think live service games in particular are in a very, very different scenario. So I think you're going to see that. I don't think it's a cause for alarm. I don't think it's a cause for concern because I know there are people who really like the fact that PlayStation prioritizes the console first. They prioritize building games and, making sure they're at high quality. It's not just about my exclusives. Oh, my exclusives. Please don't mess with my exclusives. For me, it's always been about a good relationship between the developers and the hardware so that we get really, really good games. I think there's very, very good, grounds to argue that with Death Stranding 2 in particular. I think Death Stranding 2 really demonstrates the level of quality you're going to get when a company and a studio, like a development studio, is working in conjunction with the makers of the hardware, I wasn't trying to stir the pot. I was just asking about leakers. I'm sure he is right on most of it. It sounds legit. Yeah, Cookie, I think it was your phrasing that got my attention. You said, y'all are taking his word like it's gold. Crazy. That's not a question, right? You were going more on the offensive, which if you think it's bogus, speak it loud, speak it with your chest. Say it with your chest. That's fine. It wasn't really a question, though. You kind of came in kind of barreled up and ready to go. You're like, you guys are taking this word like gold. Crazy. And it's like I think kind of like, that's why everybody like immediately kind of got either defensive or that's why I said, hey, Mag's reliable. I'm not necessarily taking his word as gold, but I feel like Mag has been a reliable, source of insider information. He doesn't seem to go off half-cocked. He doesn't seem to say anything until he's got what he feels like is very solid information. So, yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why you got a response from me and you got my attention, as well as other people in the chat. And again, Mag is a friend and he's been kind to me, which is a sad rarity these days. It's a sad rarity these days. So yeah. I wanted to make sure that we weren't like inadvertently having Mag out here catching strays just because he ran with a video about some Insomniac stuff that he had heard. I think they should feed the funnel, but that's what makes me curious about Horizon Online. Well, the Horizon game too, there's two different games, right? There's like the MMO that like the one MMO company is helping with, and then there's like the online game like the co-op game. And the interesting thing is that the MMO has been described as coming to PC and mobile, which people are like, wait, does that mean it's not coming to PlayStation? I think that would be incredibly weird to build a Horizon MMO and not have it on PlayStation, since the Horizon franchise has done so incredibly well for PlayStation as far as like units sold. It's one of their more successful franchises. So it would be weird for that to happen. But again, there's also two different Horizon games coming. So I don't honestly know if I feel like that's in a different category. Like Spider-Man, there was going to be like that alleged one they were working on, like a live service Spider-Man game or whatever. I think that would be a pretty big departure for them to put something like Horizon, Spidey, God of War, something to that effect on Xbox. I think that's a lot of a bigger departure than like like Helldivers 2. I don't feel like those are equal. And I know there are people that think, nope, this is it. This is where everything's going. Industry's going third party, And I'm like, okay, I don't, until I see evidence of that, I'm not going to say that. Like, I didn't start saying that I thought that I didn't think that there was grounds to say it about Xbox when we first started hearing about their strategy in like, I think it was like 2017. Like I was watching like an E3 event, and I said that I really felt like they were blurring the line between PC and console. I saw it as a positive thing, and for a long time I was super pro about that. I was very pro Xbox. I was like, they're a sleeping giant. They're going to blur the line between PC and console. That'll give them a larger footprint. And there are people here that will say, yeah, back in the day, Lono was really big on Xbox in that respect. Like there were guys that didn't agree with me, and they're like, Xbox is not a sleeping giant. This is going to blow up in their faces or whatever. So I didn't really change my position on them as a company and started saying, like, I think they're going to start publishing their games on other platforms when I started saying they were going to go software strategy. I didn't do that until I felt like there was ample evidence and there was interviews and comments being made. I'll treat Sony the exact same way. I don't see a reason to say, oh, they're doing it, they're going third party, they're going to publish their games everywhere. I don't see grounds to say that yet. If that happens, I think there'll be a ton of evidence. Currently, there's basically none. They're not restructuring the companies. They're not hiring for parallel development. They're not talking to shareholders. They're not talking on earnings calls and restructuring budgets. Just this year, they doubled down on this is the strategy. So again, until I see evidence, I don't think I'm going to say otherwise. Like, it took a lot for me to change my position on Xbox. It'll take a lot for me to do the same thing about PlayStation. Horizon Moon Online DOA, just quietly cancel it now. Why do you think they're DOA? Like, I think a Horizon multiplayer game in the vein of like a Monster Hunter could do very well. I can't really speak to the Horizon MMO. I think MMOs are a little bit harder to predict because you've really, really got to get broad, big appeal for an MMO to work. Like New World was insane, and then like it just kind of tumbled down, right? I think MMOs are going to be really, really tough to navigate going forward. I think the reason that MMOs are going to struggle more is because I think more and more players are at a stage of life where they can't have a career game, if that makes sense. Like Destiny for a lot of people was almost like a career game. It was like a part-time job. And so I think it's even harder to get an MMO off the ground these days. Like a new MMO, I think would be very difficult. Like an online game, though, like in the vein of a Monhun, I think a Horizon game like that could do very, very well. I think it could be very popular, yeah, and very successful. I like Horizon, but no one's asking for those. That's not really a response. Like the whole nobody's asking for those. I mean, that's not really a response. Nobody asked for the Horizon Zero Dawn. Right? Like Guerrilla does a big departure from what they're known for, and you could say nobody asked for Horizon Zero Dawn, and it's one of their most successful franchises. Like Horizon as a franchise is one of the most successful first-party studio franchises that PlayStation owns. So that nobody asked for this, I think it makes sense when you're looking at genre. So like when we looked at the 5v5 hero shooter with Concord, I think it was fair for me to say nobody asked for this because I'm talking about genre either saturation or beyond its life. So like we could say if somebody comes out with a game tomorrow that is very much reminiscent of like Quake 3 Arena, we would say nobody asked for this, and what we mean is there's no market demand for arena shooters like that anymore. It's kind of moved on. But I don't think you could argue that about a Horizon sort of Monhun adjacent style game. If you look at the successful, nature of Monster Hunter and as far as sales and things like that go, I think it's very clear there is market demand for those types of games. So I think it could do very well. As far as a Horizon MMO, I'm less inclined to have confidence in that. Not because I don't think people would enjoy it or that like the world of Horizon could make for a great MMO. You've got the different factions, the different armor and weapon types within the different factions, the different customs, the different looks and appearances. That could work very well for an MMO. Then you got all the different enemies and all the different things you could do for your open world grind and fighting and dungeons and raids. Like you could really do some fun stuff within the Horizon universe within an MMO. I think my biggest pause about any future MMOs, not just Horizon, is that the market doesn't seem super receptive to a brand new MMO that you have to like, I gotta live in this. You know, like, I just think that's a harder sell these days. No, I've never been a big Monhun guy. I played it when it came out, and I thought the performance was terrible, and I never really went back. Yeah. Somebody asked if I was done with Death Stranding 2. No. I'm not done with Death Stranding 2. I've stopped playing Death Stranding 2 only temporarily because I'm playing Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. I got a review copy of that. Competing for the attention of players is harder than ever. Right. Like, I would say if I'm a betting man, and I've talked about this before, if you're trying to launch a live service game right now or an MMO, I think having an established IP and franchise first is an enormous help. It's an enormous help because, like, when you try to launch like a brand new IP and you also want that brand new IP to be live service, you want that brand new IP to be an MMO, I think it's very, very difficult because you don't have a fan base yet. Launching an MMO launching a Monhun style Horizon game has a shot because you have an established and very popular franchise. Those are customers that would consider buying it. And you also have people who like Monhun games who might give it a shot. Same with an MMO. You have a recognizable IP, a popular franchise, so you already have fans who might buy it. And then there are people who like MMOs who might also buy it. So I actually think my own assessment is the opposite of yours. You're like, no, it's DOA, just cancel them. I actually see plenty of reasons within market trends and the success of the franchise itself that would say both of the Horizon games have a shot. They have a much better shot than like Fair Games or Marathon. I think those are the types of games we're seeing that just don't have pull and they don't have demand. They're meat grinders. There's nothing to them. Like, there's just no longevity there. There's no longevity. It's like saying that you're going to ride a scooter across the country. It's just like, it's not built for that. It's not built for that level of distance. And when I look at Splitgate or Marathon or the concept or hearing about Fair Games, I'm like, it doesn't seem built for the long term. That feels like a game that people will enjoy for maybe 1 month. So my assessment's different than yours. I mean, I don't necessarily know if you've really argued that they would be DOA. You've just said that they're going to be DOA. I mean, I don't know what sort of reasoning you have. I feel like I've offered some pretty fair points that Horizon is a franchise and what the genres we're hearing they would land in actually have a lot of promise. More promise than Fair Games and more promise than stinking Marathon. I think there's Horizon fatigue. I don't see evidence of that. Where do you see evidence of Horizon fatigue? I mean, did they replace the Horizon Zero Dawn remaster? Did that replace the base game, or is it got its own? Does it have its own front? 197,000 ratings. I don't think there's Horizon fatigue. Now, I think there could be Horizon or franchise fatigue eventually. I think that's a fair point to make. This was my concern when they said they're going to be doing a third Horizon game with Aloy, a Horizon multiplayer game, and a Horizon MMO. That I actually agree with. By the time, let's say that's your big three coming, right? Your big three Horizon pieces of property coming is you got the online game, you got the MMO, and then you got the third installment with Aloy. Whichever game comes third is sweating because it's like, yeah, people might be a little over Horizon by the time this shows up. However, I think the MMO kind of doesn't count, and here's why. I think the Horizon MMO will be targeting a very, very different target audience. They will be targeting, from what we're hearing, PC mobile. Well, I don't think people in PC mobile land that like MMOs are going to be like, I'm so sick of Horizon. The PlayStation boys might say that. If the PlayStation boys get like a Monhun multiplayer Horizon and a third Horizon game with Aloy, those guys might be like, man, I am sick to death of Horizon. Yeah, the Horizon MMO has been confirmed, yeah. Was it NCSoft that's helping with it, I believe? Yeah. And they were apparently building it for PC and mobile. PlayStation wasn't even mentioned. That seems weird. I don't know if that makes much sense, but maybe what we're saying is why it would make sense. Maybe they're like, we feel like the PlayStation crowd would vibe more with a multiplayer Mon-Hun adjacent Horizon online game, but a Horizon MMO would have a better shot on PC and mobile. You know, make it sort of in that vein of MMOs that do well, especially if you can ship it in China. Good Lord, that could be incredibly popular if they're able to ship it into the Chinese mobile market. I mean, that could potentially be a game changer, like a print money machine for PlayStation's live service efforts. Like we're speculating that Marvel Tokyo Fighting Souls is going to be a big deal for them commercially. You know, this is one of the reasons why I think PlayStation's live service efforts are pressing on, because they know the potential of some of these games and some of these markets that we're not thinking about, because we're thinking about like, well, Concord sucked, what are you doing? The MMOs in the universe of Horizon, not a mainline game, think ESO. Still, I think it's fair to say people might get a little tired of Horizon by the time the third, you know, whatever the third thing is. If it's on mobile, can we expect the full gacha mechanics and microtransactions? I certainly hope not. I certainly hope they would treat the franchise with care, but they put Aloy in Genshin, so they might not. PlayStation might be like, money's money, y'all. You know what I mean? Which I would be critical of. I don't like when I didn't like that Aloy showed up in Genshin. I didn't think that was good. I thought it was okay that like Aloy and Kratos showed up in Fortnite, but I feel like Genshin's in a different category. You know, people say that I hate on Genshin and that I don't give it a fair shot. I just think the gacha mechanics, the monetization tactics, the pity mechanics, I am very critical of those. I don't like them. Don't come at me with you can play for free. Like, I don't care. If you have predatory monetization practices baked within your game, it doesn't really matter to me one iota that you can play for free and have a completely fine time. That doesn't absolve them of how they structure monetization within the game. As soon as you cross into those monetization lines, I'm going to be critical of it. I'm not going to support the game or play the game. And you don't get out from underneath my criticisms by saying, well, you can play for free and avoid all that. I don't care. I don't care. Hot take, I like Horizon Zero Dawn more than Forbidden West. That's actually not a hot take. I've spoken to a lot of people that think that. Doc Dark thinks that. Doc Dark thought the first game was better. I've talked to a lot of Horizon fans that think that the first game was better. Some of that, I believe, is the metamorphosis principle that I've outlined. I think the first time you played Horizon, it was such a new and fresh experience that's baked into... Like, imagine that your level of enjoyment of a game is like a meter that can only go so high. Okay, so it can go all the way to 100. Well, when you experience something for the very first time... God of War 2018 is now being put in chat as well. Spider-Man 1. I bet you, there's this internal thing that we feel, and I think the meter of enjoyment was probably higher when you played Zero Dawn, Spider-Man 1, and God of War 2018. It doesn't mean that their sequels are not better games, technically, objectively, from the way that they build them, from the next-gen, appearance and features and all the rest. But your enjoyment meter, I think, has a lower potential cap and ceiling when you're playing the sequel, because nothing is going to hit quite as potent when you're like, yeah, I've kind of done this before, I've kind of been here before, so those points, they don't fill the meter as strongly anymore. I do. I think you go through a metamorphosis. When you play a Spider-Man 1, God of War 2018, and Horizon Zero Dawn, you play them for the very first time, I think your enjoyment meter goes way, way higher. Like, oh my gosh, this is mind-blowing. When you play the sequels, I think the maximum that meter can go is just automatically lower. Not that the game sucks, not that you're bored. I just don't think it's as potent. Familiarity breeds contempt, right? There's just low-level, baked-in familiarity. I've been here before. I know what the world does. I know the rules of the world. It's harder to surprise, delight, or scare you. So, true for Death Stranding 2, 100%. I think there are people who are going to look back and be like, Death Stranding 1 was better because there were these transformative moments that hit me and made me a fan. And Death Stranding 2, I was already a fan, so it's harder for that meter to go all the way to the tippity top. Now, it's subjective to every person. There are going to be plenty of people that say Death Stranding 2 is so much better. Horizon Forbidden West is so much better. But I think generally, you would probably find this to be true across the board with sequels, that people internally have like this meter and it just doesn't go as high for sequels. You know what I mean? I just don't think it goes as high. That's not an indictment of sequels, and that's not an indictment of the players. I just think that's how we work psychologically. I think that's just how we're wired. It's kind of like, have you ever experienced this? You get hired at a job, and everything feels enormous. Everything feels big. The office, the parking lot, the warehouse, wherever. I remember the first time I got hired at Best Buy, I thought the store was huge. 2 weeks later, it didn't feel huge anymore. It felt familiar. It felt small. Does that make sense? I think that baked-in familiarity shrinks things. It just doesn't feel as big. It doesn't feel as crazy. Empire Strikes Back was better than New Hope. I don't think you can really draw an equivalency to movies, because movies are non-participatory, like we're not controlling anything, and it's easier for a movie to surprise and delight. Like, the crazy things that happen in The Empire Strikes Back, I think, are going to be able to one-up A New Hope, because you're advancing the story, and there's more Darth Vader. You know what I'm saying? I don't think movies and sequels to movies are the best equivalency, because of the experiential nature of video games. You're going to get less of that dopamine hit when you're familiar with the game. I'm not saying that you don't enjoy the sequel. I'm saying that meter that fills all the way to the top and you're like, oh my gosh, Horizon Zero Dawn is an incredibly cool, new, brand new game. The sequel is going to struggle to hit that level of 100. It'll hit, the meter will go all the way up to 90. That's still really high, and you're still having a good time, but it's not the same. Sequels should theoretically allow the devs to build upon the good things, fix the issues, and provide an overall better experience. That's true, Mediocre Milton, and I believe all of those games did that. I believe that God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Spider-Man 2, and Death Stranding 2 are all fantastic sequels. However, I think you will commonly find people that are like, I liked the first one better, or I enjoyed the first one better. And I think everything I've just said is why they might feel that way. They're not wrong. They're not even necessarily saying objectively that the second game isn't better. I think they would acknowledge there are objective, measurable improvements, but they would say, I had a better time in the first one. And I can always come back to that metamorphosis principle. The first time you experience something, baked into that experience is an elation with the newness of the thing. You can't replace that. You can't. I watched a video today of people listening to Fleetwood Mac Rumors for the first time. And you know what some of the comments said? They were jealous of people getting to hear the brilliance of Mick Fleetwood and the band playing and writing and experiencing that music for the very first time. There were people that were jealous because of the potency. And you know this is true with music. It never hits the same as that first time a track hits and you're like, what the frick is this? 100 times later, it still hits and you still like it. But the diminishing returns are measurable. There's some science to what I'm saying as well. This isn't just like my own theory. There's science behind this as to why you get depreciating returns. So that's why I think you'll find people that think that the sequels aren't as good as the first. Doing that on and off all day and I don't have a download running? What's it doing? I have not had a single problem since I adjusted my my encoder. Yeah, Jaster, I don't know why that's happening to you. Are you what browser are you watching in? Have you tried leaving and coming back? Yeah, did she make you cry, make you break down, shadow your illusions of love? Yeah. It depends how much love they put into the game and the sequels. There are times it goes downhill after the third or fourth game. Oh, that's a different subject, though, Two Stone to Play. Yeah. I think sometimes a game has just run its course. I think that's totally true, yes. Am I going to be playing a Spider-Man 4 and being like, yo, they're just cooking? Or am I going to be like, yeah, I've done this enough? You see what I'm saying? Like, I think sometimes you're just like, yeah, Firefox just started doing this today. See if did Firefox update and turn on any weird settings? That seems like Firefox turned on like that weird hardware acceleration feature or something that can cause hiccups in video playback. It's 1 o'clock. We gotta go. We gotta go to Green Room because I want to be out of Green Room a little bit earlier today because I need time to play Wu Chang. Let me schedule Green Room. This has been a fantastic day, by the way. Man, the turnout and the viewership has been so good. It really backs something that we're going to start to do going forward. And I think the vibe today was the vibe that we want to shoot for. And if you guys enjoyed the vibe and you're like, man, I hope live streams are always like this, I tell you what really helps. Hitting like. So let's get 50 more likes. Let's get to 400. It'll help this video be viewed by more people. More people that are subbed to the channel will end up watching this and be like, man, that was a good show. That was a good time. Also, if you want to come with us to the Green Room, you need to be at Member Plus. So if you really like what we do here, $6 a month for the cost of a cup of coffee every month, you get into extra content, and we need more and more people to do that to get us to a place where we want to be. And it's been a 5-year experiment, and YouTube is very different, and you guys are very much not about upgrading and paying for content, and I get that. I feel like we offer a high piece of valued content every day in Green Room, and then Friday Nights with Madam. I feel like you get way more than the $6. I feel like every month I want every month you guys to end and be like, $6 is well worth it. That's my goal with the way I make the content. So let me give you guys a link in chat, and we'll also redirect. You guys on Purple, eventually you will not be able to watch this segment. Once I've streamed for 90 unique days, I'll be able to do sub-only content, and we are getting very, very close to that time. So you will want to be a sub to watch. I know a lot of you guys on YouTube run over to Purple so you can watch this segment. That will soon come to an end. So get yourselves prepared for that. Upgrade to Member Plus on YouTube or become a sub on Purple so that you'll have access to this content. All right, let me turn that down. Thank you so much for being a Member Plus or a VIP. We recently even had a new VIP today, and I greatly appreciate that. If you guys are keeping those memberships going, thank you. I know a lot of people have switched to Purple. Some people have just decided that they don't want it anymore, and that's fine. That's fine. But those of you that have continued to support the channel monetary like that, that is how we do what we do. Those of you that go crazy with gifts, and those of you guys that upgrade, that's how I'm able to do this full time, so thank you. I'm going to end the previous stream. Thank you to all the people who gifted and did tips and everything today. And I'm going to redirect folks over, and then I do need to